If you grew up in the mid-2000s like I did, then you probably remember the absolute chokehold that Guitar Hero and Rock Band once had on our society. I don't know if it was just because this box became the default Christmas present for most children in 2007, but Guitar Hero 3 was the first video game to ever pass $1 billion in sales, roughly the equivalent of 500 wireless controllers. But that means that in the span of less than 3 years, Guitar Hero went from not existing at all to becoming one of the most financially successful video game series ever made. In 2008, both Guitar Hero World Tour and Rock Band 2 came out. These games added other instruments into the mix, like a microphone that turned your living room into a karaoke bar, and drums that turned your downstairs neighbors into people considering arson. Together, these games sold over 6 million copies, and with endless possibilities for expansion, it seemed like these two franchises would be staples of the video game industry for years, if not decades to come. So what the hell happened? I guess in a perfect world, you would have just had to buy one game that you could continue to expand your library of songs on through reasonably priced DLC. Unfortunately, that is not the world that we were living in. Instead, Activision and EA chose to release full-priced games, not even once a year, every couple of months. Games that cost 60 American dollars and sometimes only featured songs from one band. All of these games came out within 2 years of each other. It was like they were determined to oversaturate their own market as quickly as possible, and most fans just couldn't keep up. Look, I was 15 in 2009. I didn't have $300 to spend every year so I could pretend to play the guitar. I had $3 to spend every year, and I used it to buy iced tea from 7-Eleven. These companies were led by people who expected to keep making $1 billion every time they put out a game, not considering the fact that most of those sales numbers came from the overpriced instruments that you only needed to buy once. We just wanted more songs, man. I don't need a different fake guitar. But despite now being dead and buried for the better part of a decade, there's been a little bit of a nostalgia-driven resurgence for Guitar Hero lately. There's a pretty dedicated online community that plays their own modded version of the game. The controllers are still just as expensive as they ever were, although that's more of a supply and demand issue. And when I went to a barcade a couple months ago for my friend's birthday, it was one of the only games that you had to wait in line for. That's right, Guitar Hero fever is back, baby, and you might want to call a doctor because I'm showing symptoms. I've got night sweats, heartburn. Sometimes when I get up too fast, I get kind of dizzy. So yeah, maybe the night of my aforementioned friend's aforementioned birthday party, I did go home and drunkenly buy Guitar Hero 3, a guitar for the Wii, and an adapter for PC. But as you've seen from the title, that's not my end goal here. I have a theory that if I spend enough time playing this guitar, I'll get better at this guitar. How? I don't know. I haven't made the video yet. Get off my ass. I've been playing the guitar for a little over 10 years now, which sounds impressive, as long as you don't ask me to play an E minor chord. I don't know what that means. Or a pentatonic scale. I don't know what that means. Or to point to a guitar. Is it this one? No, that's a lamp. Starting out, there were a lot of things I skipped that I probably shouldn't have. I didn't take lessons, I didn't learn scales, I certainly didn't learn music theory. What do I look like, a nerd to you? Don't answer that. I would just look up tabs for songs that I wanted to learn and then just keep practicing until I could play them. Tabs are great because they're like sheet music for idiots. Like, I have no idea what this note is, much less where to find it on the guitar. But if you just tell me which string to play and where to put my finger, it's pretty hard to mess that up. Most of the songs I learned starting out were just like simple arpeggios. Really, you can do a lot on the guitar just by playing 3 strings at a time and barely moving your hands. Then I got really into trying to learn guitar solos for a while, but like simple ones I could actually wrap my head around. I can never really do that part. What's cool about learning a guitar solo though is that they tend to use like every note that works in whatever key the song is in. So once you memorize that, you kind of know where all the notes are that work with the song, and then you can just play whatever you want.
so silly, man. There's no rules here. There are still laws, and you will be punished if you break them, but there's no rules to playing the guitar. So just have fun. All I ever wanted to do on the guitar was learn how to write my own music. I enjoyed learning other songs, but mostly I was kind of just using those as a gateway to understanding how the guitar works. So as soon as I felt comfortable enough to start like writing my own stuff, which to be clear was all very simplistic, I stopped trying to learn things. And looking back on it, that was definitely a mistake. I think that has ultimately held me back from continuing to improve on a trajectory that would have been more satisfying for me. Instead of grinding through some of the more tedious foundational building blocks you're supposed to start with, I'd be like, yeah, but what if I just smack the guitar? That's kind of cool, right? And I had so many little epiphanies early on, and then I sort of just plateaued for a long time because I stopped trying to challenge myself. So all of that being said, why do I think that Guitar Hero could help me get better at the actual guitar if it only has 5 buttons and is made of plastic? Well, number one, timing. Even if you're playing something simple and repetitive, the game will get mad at you for playing off beat, so I think it could help developing more of an internal metronome. And number two is dexterity, which I don't have nearly enough of in my left hand. And if I ever want to be really good at the guitar, I have to be able to move my fingers real fast. That's just part of it. One of the big detours I took early on in my guitar journey, before I ever got that proficient with using my left hand, was learning how to tap with my right hand. I would just do this shit all the time. Yeah, I don't know, man, I'm not playing music, I'm just blowing off steam. Now, if I'm being honest, one of the main reasons I even learned how to do this in the first place was because I thought it would look cool, the most important factor when learning how to play an instrument. But I also realized that because I'm right-handed, it allowed me to do more with the hand that I'm actually good at doing stuff with, and take some of the onus off my left hand, which is for the most part stupid and useless. Like if I were trying to throw a frisbee with my left hand, it's not gonna go where I want it to. But I'm supposed to be able to do all this with it? Who decided that? I just feel like so much of my time playing guitar has been spent trying to make sure that my left hand doesn't have any responsibilities. Even the simplest shit I could possibly play, my instinct is to bring my right hand over to help because I'm scared of what my left hand might do if I leave him alone for 1 minute. I don't trust him. And my thinking is, on Guitar Hero, you have to use your left hand. The buttons are way too far away for me to go back and forth. So if I'm able to get really good at Guitar Hero, it will only be because my left hand did most of the work, and that's my goal with this video. God, no one is gonna give a shit about this.
The moment I opened this game up, I was hit with a tidal wave of nostalgia. The 2 different songs that play in the menu, despite there being like 75 songs in the game to choose from. The sitting there in awkward silence because you missed a note that was supposed to ring out for a really long time. And also that thing of wanting to activate star power so you can get more points, but immediately messing up because you had to move your hand to do it and it threw you off, so you're actually getting fewer points than you would have if you didn't activate star power in the first place. All these memories crashed into me like a truck. But as far as skill went, it was clear I had my work cut out for me. Gotta be honest, I kinda think I can do expert. I was wrong. So I started grinding. I played for like 11 hours the first 2 days, knocking out song after song after song. I felt so freaking cool, man. Even though I almost failed most of the time. I gotta be honest, I would rather barely pass a hard song with 3 stars than waste my time doing this boring shit. Let me pull up an easy song.
Wait a minute, is this kind of like how early on I never wanted to learn how to do scales because I thought they were boring, and then I never ended up learning them at all, and that's part of the reason I'm even making this video in the first place? Am I just destined to keep repeating the same mistakes? Am I stupid?
Yes, sorry, I just checked and I already have 17 copyright claims on this video, so I'm gonna interrupt real quick to tell you about today's sponsor, SoFi, who's helping me give away $10,000 to someone watching this video right now. It could even be that person standing behind you. Who is that guy?
If you didn't already know, SoFi is the all-in-one finance app that helps you bank, borrow, and invest. Their checking and savings account can earn you up to 4.4% APY on your savings, which is 10 times the national savings rate average. A high-yield savings account is a great way to make your money work harder for you by earning you something back in interest without you having to do anything. A typical savings account at your local bank is only going to earn you about 0.42% in interest, which means in just 5 weeks, your money in a SoFi high-yield savings account with direct deposit will earn more in interest than it would in an entire year of sitting in a savings account at some big bank. You can also get paid up to 2 days faster with SoFi checking and savings, pay no account fees, and cash in on up to $250 when you sign up for direct deposit. Since SoFi is a nationally chartered bank, they're subject to just as strict regulatory standards as other banks, and you can also access additional FDIC insurance up to $2 million through a seamless network of participating banks. But the best part is, SoFi and I are giving away $10,000. To enter, sign up for a SoFi checking and savings account right now using my link, sofi.com/Drew. The link for that is in the description. You can also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. You could try scanning my face, but as far as I'm aware, nothing's gonna happen. My face is not a QR code. Thank you so much to SoFi for sponsoring this video, which will continue now.
So I would say at this point, my muscle memory is definitely starting to come back. I've gotten through most of the hard songs. As a kid, I only ever dabbled in hard. I never tried expert. It got to a point where medium was too easy for me, but I couldn't move up to hard because in hard, they add the 5th button and then you have to move your fingers. You can't just leave them in the same place the whole time. And as soon as I moved my hand once, I would just forget where I was and it would be a total disaster and then I'd choke and cry. But I think now as an adult, having played the actual guitar for a long time, I've built up a little bit of dexterity in my left hand. I'm smarter now. I'm taller. I'm maybe 1 inch tall. I haven't grown a lot since I was 15.
Okay, that part's hard. God damn it.
I fucked up as soon as I did the star power. Despite making a lot of progress the past couple weeks, it seems I have hit a wall. It took me 400 tries to even make it through the past couple of songs, and now I just have one left. Plus, I think an encore song. And I can't do it, man. I tried practicing it. I've tried slowing it down. I can't. I'm too stupid. I don't know what to do. I had reached an impasse right at the end of hard, but also near the middle of expert.
I'm gonna fail this. I just know I'm gonna fail this.
Dude, I don't think this is making me better at guitar. I'm hitting the notes!
It's not me. It's the game.
Here, I want to try something.
Told you it was a game.
So here's where I took a pretty long break from Guitar Hero 3 in favor of Clone Hero, which is a reimagining of the original game series, but anyone can add songs to it. And apart from the Xbox 360 era graphics and the Lego Star Wars-esque dialogue, both of which I do like a lot, they're very charming. Clone Hero is superior to Guitar Hero in pretty much every single way, mostly because of the amount of content people have added to it. Playing through songs on here that I never in a million years thought I would get the chance to was a life-changing experience. If they had all this emo shit on Guitar Hero back when I was 16 and extremely sad, I never would have left my room. Instead, I never left my room because I was playing Halo. I cannot stress enough how much this game feels like it was tailor-made in a laboratory specifically for me. They have every Hail the Sun song on here. That's my favorite band. They have songs from Save Us from the Archon, a band I thought 12 people had ever listened to. They have Life is a Highway by Rascal Flatts. I thought that song only existed inside the universe of the Cars movies. Part of the reason I've barely posted videos the past couple months is because I cannot stop playing this game. I thought I'd have this video done in April, and now it's the middle of July. What the hell, man? It's so cool to me that I can go on here and pretend to play songs by The Contortionist and Covet and Last Dinosaurs and Lady Gaga. I'm just kidding about that last one, by the way. I thought I would like playing Poker Face, but who did this? This is not how the song goes. You tricked me.
It had been about 2 months of playing Clone Hero every single day, and I was feeling pretty good about my progress. I'd get new personal bests almost every time I played a song. I got pretty consistent with hitting these big sweeps, as long as the notes are in order, otherwise my brain shuts down trying to figure it out. But even though I was getting a lot better, something kept eating at me. It was like I had forgotten the whole point of making this video in the first place.
Oh, I still need to finish Guitar Hero.
And you guys aren't gonna believe what happened next. I finally beat the song. This shit was the bane of my existence a month and a half ago, and now I just breeze through it on my first try? What the hell? I didn't know you could get better at stuff. I've grown, guys. This is growth. I guess it wasn't the game this whole time. It was me. Maybe I should stop blaming others for my shortcomings and just try to focus on being the best version of myself I can.
I'm gonna fucking kill someone.
Okay, so maybe I still can't do that song, but that's fine. I'm clearly better at the game now. I just can't do that one thing. And it doesn't bother me that I can pass all these other songs, except for the one that I have left to finish the game. That doesn't make me mad or piss me off or whatever it is you're thinking right now. I couldn't care less.
I think the guy who wrote this song should be in jail.
No, you're right. I could care less. Which is to say that I care a lot about how it's been 2 months and I still can't do this.
At least I get to listen to this shit over and over again.
Maybe I should just give up.
All right, new tactic. Oh my God, it's working. Why didn't I do this earlier?
Oh my God, I finally did it. And all I had to do this whole time was stop trying to play it correctly and instead just mash a bunch of buttons and strum as fast as I could. I'm tricking the game into thinking
Oh wait, I've never gotten this far.
Is that it? Is that the last note? Did I do it? After 2 months? I do rock! I'll be sure to remember this piece of advice when I go back to the regular guitar. When in doubt, just play whatever you want and no one will notice.
Never mind, that doesn't work. It only works in the game, I'm sorry.
All right, regular guitar update. I don't really know how to track my progress on here. With Guitar Hero, they give you a score every time, but this guy doesn't tell me shit. I think playing the game at least is putting me in more of a headspace to want to practice every day. Like, it's a constant reminder that, like, it's fun to play music, which I forget sometimes, and then I don't touch my guitar for 2 months. I wrote a new song, so that's probably something. The other night I was playing around and I found some chords that I liked, and then I recorded that. And then the next day, I just kind of played it over and over again until I found a melody I liked, and then I put the two parts together and uploaded it on Instagram. And now that it's documented somewhere, I can safely forget how to play it. In fact, I already have. I feel like maybe there's a little bit more fluidity in my left hand now, but it also kind of comes and goes. I would say my biggest takeaway so far is that if nothing else, Clone Hero is a really fun way to warm up your hands before moving on to practicing the actual guitar. There's so many finger exercises and little warm-ups out there, but I'm here to say, don't bother with any of that. Just do this for 20 minutes. It's so much more fun.
I've encountered another pretty big distraction that's put a slight delay on this video. I learned how to make songs on Clone Hero, and now I can't stop doing it. It's such a slow and tedious process, and it's probably the most fun I've ever had doing anything. I first decided I wanted to do one because this band called Sea in the Sky just released a new EP, and it's great. I love this band. I think they're super underrated. You should check them out. Anyway, they've got this short little instrumental song in the middle of the EP, and I thought this is the perfect first song for me to chart, to learn how to use this software. So I spent several hours doing that, and I think it turned out pretty good. I had to tweak it a bunch because I had no idea what I was doing the first time, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out. So then I tried doing another song from the EP, and this one was going great too, until I got to the guitar solo at the end. I don't know, man. I just threw a bunch of notes down. I have no idea what he's playing. And then I was like, I can't believe there's no Explosions in the Sky songs on this website. They're one of the most popular guitar-driven instrumental bands from the past 20 years. I'll do my two favorites. And then about 9 hours later, I realized why no one's ever charted one of these songs before. It's probably because they're all 10 minutes long. It's really hard to figure out which guitar part to focus on at any given time. And also, by the time I was done making it, it wasn't even that fun to play. There's actually a few songs on Clone Hero that weren't nearly as fun to play as I'd hoped they'd be. But then even more songs that I thought were way more fun than I expected. Perfect example of this is this band called Intervals, who I like,
but I wouldn't say I love. They do have one song that I love called Fable. It's got a sax solo in it, made me cry the first time I heard it. And I think it's cool that the bass player plays a solo anytime they play that song live. Anyway, this song is fun as hell to play on Clone Hero. This game really makes you feel like you're playing the saxophone on a plastic guitar. But what I was saying is that even the interval songs that I wouldn't have said I like that much are so fun to play on this game that it's making me appreciate them more and listen to them a little bit differently. And I think that was something that happened on the original Guitar Hero and Rock Band games for a lot of people. In a lot of cases, it would be the first time where you really listened in on a guitar riff rather than just the vocals, and you'd be like, oh, I've never noticed that little melody right there. Or like, oh, that's cool how they mix that up for the second verse. The bridge is the best part of Ocean Avenue, not the chorus. I would say that's one of the lasting legacies of the Guitar Hero series, is how many people it inspired to pick up the guitar, learn how to play, to just appreciate music a little bit differently. So I salute you, Guitar Hero series, for inspiring a whole bunch of young people to learn how to play the guitar and start a band that goes on to make absolutely no money because the music industry is in shambles. As I neared the end of my journey, it got to the point where I had just one guitar battle left. Granted, it was versus the devil himself, and turns out he's pretty good at guitar. But one battle left that I just had to make it to the end of, and the game would be over, and I could not do it. I spent hours playing this song, but no matter what I did, he would always defeat me.
Get a new trick, man. I dropped my phone.
Now, I do kind of have an excuse for this. The attacks you deal in guitar battles are dispersed at random, and one of them does this thing where you can't play any notes until you hit the whammy bar a bunch. Not a big deal, right? Wrong. It is a big deal. Because even though during the rest of the game I have no issues using the whammy bar, for whatever reason in this moment the game does not register that I'm hitting it and I lose automatically. This battle brought me to my breaking point.
He got two!
So I regret to inform you that even after spending 4 long months trying to get as good at Guitar Hero as I possibly could, I'm giving up right before the end. Is what I would say if I was a quitter, so I marched back. No, I'm sorry to even get your hopes up. I wrote that into the script hoping it might motivate me to finish the job. It did not. But then I thought, what if I set the bar a little lower?
I'm gonna try to get a perfect score on this song, so at least that I can do something that is impressive to anybody out there at all. But I think I can get a perfect score on this song. This one's pretty simple. Look, the stars look different. I've never seen that before. Is that the easiest one in the game? Perhaps. But I did it on expert.
Yeah, so maybe I'm not the best at Guitar Hero and never will be. But I'm pretty good at Guitar Hero, and that's a lot more than I could say a couple months ago. So no matter what all the haters and losers out there try to say about me, I don't care, because I'm proud of myself. Unfortunately, I did lock myself in my closet.
I decided as we near the end of this video that I should do something I've been avoiding for the past 10 years. I'm gonna learn a scale.
I did it.
The only other thing I wanted to do at this point to prove to myself that I've improved is write one last song about my journey. Something that I felt would musically represent the highs and lows that I experienced over the course of the Guitar Hero 3 solo campaign. The bittersweet feeling that came with getting so close to the end, but still being unable to defeat the devil because he cheated.
I'm having so much fun playing this game. Just one song left and I win. Wait, is that the devil? When did the devil learn guitar? Suck my ass, devil. Wait, hold on. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna beat the devil. I lost.
But I also knew that this video wouldn't be complete until I took everything I learned into the real world and played a show in front of a live audience. Only then will I know how far I've come.
I've been working on this song for a couple months now. I'm a little nervous to perform, but it's a song that means a lot to me, and you know, I hope you like it too. If you know it, sing along.
So last night I went to an open mic in Castleberry, Florida. I signed up, paced around nervously until it was my turn, and then I went up and played my heart out. I was so nervous beforehand about the performance and having to set up real quick. I knew I was gonna have to put my laptop on top of an empty box on top of an end table because that's what I had practiced at home. Could I have taken 10 extra seconds to connect to the Bluetooth speakers that everyone else was using? Yeah. But you know, this way it was more intimate. You really had to be up close to enjoy it. I gotta be honest, I spent the past few weeks thinking about every possible outcome for this, and this was probably the best one. Everyone was so excited, they were clapping and singing along. I mean, it is a universally beloved song. I was a little worried they'd get mad at me because there were like actual musicians there performing real songs that they wrote, and then I just went up to do a bit for a YouTube video, but they were really nice about it. Huge shout out to Suva Kava Cafe. Everyone there is awesome. I really could not have asked for a more supportive environment in which to share my art. And I think I'll end by saying this. If I can stand in front of a room of 29 confused strangers and pretend to play Life is a Highway by Rascal Flatts in its entirety, then you can do anything.
This is the best night of my life.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Hey guys. All right, so a little backstory with this one. In 2012, Netflix was a very different place. There was a time where it really was the only streaming service you could ever need before it slowly got lost in the sea of 40 other streaming services that all take turns owning Spider-Man 2. It wasn't just the content that was different though. It also used to be way easier to find funny, obscure nonsense because the search engine hadn't been modified yet to just show you the same 12 results no matter what you type in. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I just type M into the search bar, the first thing that pops up for me is Mean Girls. Makes total sense, it's a good movie, it's popular, it starts with the letter M, can't argue with any of that. So what if I type in the letter G instead? Okay, a little bit of a stretch, but you know, the second word does start with G, so I'll allow it. Let's try a random ass letter though. Let's do W. Okay. Now I'm confused. Maybe they think my computer's upside down? Okay, what about C? Another letter that I know is nowhere to be found in the title. Oh my God, what is happening? Oh, I've got it. I'll do a number. Surely this will fool them. What? Is it because there's 4 girls in the photo? Do you think I'm searching for a movie based on how many people are in it? How are you gonna put this before something that actually has the number 4 in its title? Now, I don't blame them for doing this because I know they're just trying to tailor the experience to each individual. I'm sure your search results will end up being entirely different than mine. But like I said, an algorithmic search engine makes it harder to find anything new on Netflix when they clearly will use any vague connection whatsoever to show you what they're already trying to get you to watch. Anyway, all of that is to say that back in 2012, none of this was the case. So my friend and I used to play this game where we would type in one random letter, click on the most ridiculous movie that we could find, and then fast forward to the last 5 minutes and watch the ending without any context at all. This led to some absurd moments. For example, this is how the movie Spooky Buddies ends.
Maybe now I can be a wise owl. It's a new day at last.
Hey! Can we get some help over here?
I'm sorry, what?
It's cold. Can someone find our clothes?
I have 1 million questions, and I don't know if I want the answer to any of them. But the movie that I've thought about the most for the past decade is one that for a long time I wasn't even sure if it actually existed, and maybe my friend and I just had this shared hallucination one night. I remember it being called White Men Can't Dance, and no, I'm not thinking of White Men Can't Jump. I know that that exists. That is a different movie. Google has already tried to gaslight me into thinking that that's what I'm looking for, but it's not, so don't even try. Here is all I remember about this movie. We skipped to the end, watched several minutes of very elaborate breakdancing, and then this happened.
I'll see you later.
That was fun. I wonder what I'm gonna draw next.
I am not exaggerating when I say that that is one of the hardest times I have ever laughed in my life. To go from 0 to 100 in such dramatic fashion, to have this onslaught of Mad Lib style nonsense, and then the icing on the cake being that apparently what this whole movie was a painting? Some unrelated character that I'm seeing for the first time now painted the movie? It may not seem like much to you, but this was a foundational moment in the development of my brain. This helped shape me into the person I am today. Honestly, I think it changed my life. So needless to say, I have been trying to find it ever since. Every like 6 months or so, I've searched for an obscure streaming service that might have it, or a website that sells like the VHS, anything at all, just so I could relive this masterpiece. But every single search left me empty-handed. I tried Reddit, I tried eBay, hell, sometimes I'd even make it to the second page of Google, but it was almost like this movie didn't want to be found. I started to worry if this was gonna be like one of those animated TikToks where the guy digs too far and gets electrocuted because he happened upon something he wasn't supposed to. Could this movie lead to my untimely demise? Or am I just giving up too soon? Like in those animated TikToks where the guy stops digging right before he gets to the diamond. This could be my diamond. I can't give up now. And then finally, a few weeks ago, I noticed Google updated their search result page. Turns out even though Netflix called it White Men Can't Dance and IMDb calls it White Men Can't Dance, that's not the name of the movie. The actual title is Daddy Can't Dance.
Who says Daddy can't dance?
Should have known. Finally armed with helpful information, it was as simple as just going to the website and buying the DVD, which I did. Keep in mind, I've never actually watched the entire movie. That's part of why I wanted to find this so bad. I've only seen the last 10 minutes. I have no idea what happens before that. So here's how they describe the movie. This is an awesome film with the best breakdancing. It has won 4 awards. Holy shit. The film is about a man, Pete Weaver, that loses his job and he finds out that someone got him fired by telling false information. So he sneaks back into work in different disguises to try to get his job back. Very funny. Meanwhile, Pete's dad dies. Seems like a spoiler, but okay. And then he finds out that his only little girl needs a kidney transplant. So financially, his back was against the wall, but he hears about a dance competition with a $40,000 first place. Holy shit. Who is running this competition that has 40 grand to give out? That's crazy. So he calls old friends to get him back into shape and compete in the dance competition to save his daughter's life. Well, I could not be more excited for this. Although you can probably tell that I'm stalling a little bit because I'm kind of nervous that after 10 years of build-up, there's no way this could possibly live up to my expectations. But regardless, let's watch Daddy Can't Dance. Oh, that's the girl from the end. Okay, so apparently whatever she draws comes to life before dissolving into fairy dust. I love that this is all happening 10 seconds after saying inspired by true events. You'd think the news would have said something about this magic pencil, but I guess not. All right, so the dad comes home from work and his family is gathered around roasting marshmallows in the fireplace.
I've been roasting them in the fireplace.
Looks like you've been roasting them in the furnace. I think I'll pass.
That would probably be the right thing to do.
You do not want to eat one of those marshmallows, man. We burned the shit out of them. Yummy marshmallows. Dude, we fucked him up so bad. I think I'm gonna like this movie. Later that night, he gets revenge on his wife.
Yeah, watch your backside, honey.
It's kind of a weird thing to say. By scaring her away. And then I guess they had sex on a pile of marshmallows. I think that's what's implied by his face. Oh my God, what is the title of this movie? Hey fellas, I can dance too. So right away, I can already tell this movie is just gonna be a shit ton of breakdancing with some over-the-top physical gags sprinkled in.
That's weird.
Hey Pete, bring that fire extinguisher up here. The fire marshal said it's out of date.
Is this it, boss?
Yeah.
Okay.
What the hell else would it be, Pete? I'm 3 minutes in, and this is already the greatest movie I've ever watched. After work, he goes to his parents' house and picks up a sandwich off the counter.
Don't eat that sandwich, Pete. Your mom made that sandwich 3.5 months ago. She liked the color.
Hey, you do you, man. If you want to leave a bologna sandwich out as decoration, more power to you. So I guess his soon-to-be-dead dad is an inventor. He goes on this whole spiel about how he gets inspired when it rains, and also, here's the math for my new invention.
I want America to be #1 in technology. #1. I guess it must be the computer.
Can we zoom out a little bit on this shot?
But I not only love to work for this country, I love to work for this family.
This goes on for so long.
Hey, sweetie pie. Mommy told me you're feeling bad.
Hey, sweetie pie, mind if I just pop in through this fucking trap door that's in the middle of your room?
Does that feel better?
Yeah, I think my forehead was just too dry. Thanks, Dad. Miraculously, the next morning, she's feeling good enough to make breakfast for the entire family, which the mom does not like.
Do not use the stove without mommy or daddy around. It's dangerous. Okay. Okay?
I don't know. If there's anyone who can't handle the stove, I think it might be Pete over there. You all right, buddy? If it wasn't for the medical foreshadowing from earlier, this next cut would seem insane.
Isn't that good?
Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're not supposed to eat cereal like that. She's not gonna make it. In the next scene, Pete is telling someone about his own invention, which is basically a portable cup holder. And what I love about this is that is a real thing that he actually did invent in real life. I know this because I found him on Instagram last week and saw he was promoting them, so I bought one. I didn't know it was gonna be in the movie. I have a prop from Daddy Can't Dance. Also, I like how he brings it up too.
Golly.
On a serious note, I got something I want you to see.
Now, if you could be serious for one goddamn second, this is a cup holder you can use outside. But before he can bring it up in his business meeting, he has to leave abruptly because Grandpa fell down.
I'm bleeding to death.
You're what?
He's just had 2 heart attacks.
What do you mean?
What do you mean 2 heart attacks?
What? I thought people only had 1 heart. No, I mean they were back to back. He had 2 backs too?
Sir, you can't go back there.
Mom.
Doctor, listen.
Wow, what a move. I've never seen a quick spin into the casual walk combo before, but it was really effective against this doctor.
Slated at 9:45 a.m. Dead.
So, okay, it is sad that he died, but why didn't they change the beeps? That's like the first thing you learn about hospitals is the sound that those machines make when someone dies. Oh, he left a note.
You always remember, son, that life is like a chess game.
Was he gonna drive his car into the river?
You do good.
Sorry, it's not funny, but it's funny. 2 hearts weren't enough for my dad. That's not what he meant. Later, at the funeral.
What'd the doctor say, honey?
About Grandpa? He died 3 days ago.
Beanie needs a kidney transplant.
Oh, you're talking about our daughter. What, did you not read the synopsis on daddycantdance.com? She needs a kidney. So after taking some time to grieve and try to figure out how they're gonna pay for the surgery, Pete's boys come over to say hello.
Sheila, do you mind if we borrow Pete for a little bit? Just a little, guy time?
Why does he say it like that? Hey, you mind if we head down to the bar and watch some sports? We just need a little guy time. It does look like they're having fun though.
Here we are, boys. I'm ready to go, guys. Whoop-de-doo.
So this is the bar, huh? Well, I had a lot of fun. I'll see you guys later. So I guess the, again, $40,000 breakdancing contest is inside this room of 12 people? They must sell a lot of drinks during this.
I have never seen anybody move like that, especially us. You know white men can't dance.
They should have called the movie that. That would have been a great title. He pretends to have to go to the bathroom, gets into this really awkward confrontation with the dancers. One of them then shoves him and calls him old, and then they leave and he says this.
Hey, man, I appreciate you bringing me out here. It's just what I needed.
Just what you needed? You were there for 4 minutes and got into a fight. That scene was to establish two things, though. One, there's now a rivalry between him and the Iceman, the guy he got into a fight with. And two, Daddy's gonna have to dance because he's gonna win that damn contest. Before he can get any momentum going in his life, though, get this, his coworker steals his invention.
It's an innovative drink holder that I invented.
No, Pete invented it.
Pete is trying to steal this from me.
He's fired.
That was fast.
Call the guards, tell them not to let him in the building under any circumstances.
You've been yanked, sir.
What? Fired, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I guess that's that. I guess he's got bigger fish to fry with the dance contest coming up, so he calls his old friend to help him get into shape, and he just tells him to run on the beach.
Start running. Way down there.
And I guess that's it. Problem solved. Sorry, I spoke too soon. There is a little montage of exercising. He does it for a whole week. So that's how he got in shape. He must be going a little too hard in the gym though, because he has this dream where his arms turned into rubber. We don't have to talk about that. It's not important at all. We also don't even really have to talk about the scene that they described on the website where he spends several minutes trying to get into work disguised as an old man, because it's just kind of weird and gross. He keeps farting and threatening to shit his pants. Very funny. Meanwhile, there is this extremely frustrating subplot that ends up taking up a majority of the movie, where his wife thinks he's having an affair because he hasn't told her that he's spending all his free time training for a dance contest. I know I'm an outsider here, but to me, it seems like he could just fucking tell her. It doesn't need to be a secret. It's not like she's anti-dance or something. Honestly, though, it's his own damn fault for being so cryptic about it.
I've got to go somewhere for a couple hours. Look, I love you, but I've just got to go somewhere for a couple hours, okay?
Just tell her that you're practicing for a dance contest to try to win money for your daughter. She will 1,000% understand. You can tell that he wrote the movie because he even has her friend character tell her that she's overreacting.
He never even touches me anymore.
Do you think that maybe you're overreacting?
You're right.
Hey, he's probably fine. You're just being crazy. I know, I'm nuts. As a viewer though, I'm not 100% convinced that he's not having an affair. Like, look at this interaction.
He's got to lose another 5 pounds.
Oh, yeah?
You saw him there. 5 pounds right here.
Right, bust it up, bust it up. Right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hey, man, we're just playing.
Oh, never mind. They were just pranking their friends.
That's wrong.
This movie's weird, man. Okay, so maybe he's not cheating with one of his dance teachers. Maybe instead he's cheating with his other friend, who we get to see sing an entire song, start to finish, and then give this look to Pete. She confronts him about it, and he does a really good job of deflecting by getting halfway to the door of their home and just being like, you know what? I have to go to the gym.
I think I'm gonna go work out.
That was a close one, man. She almost thought you were up to no good.
My wife's all uptight. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know what's gotten into her.
I want you to go home and take care of business.
No.
Take care of
No, no, no.
This scene is almost exactly like that scene in Christmas Mail. This is Matt. This is Heather. They have a weirdly close relationship that's never fully explained. They're way overly affectionate in public until someone catches them.
All right.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
But my wife, she's a good lady. But my God, if I told her I was competing in a dance competition.
Yes, of course. Or, Actually, no, why can't you just tell her?
She would absolutely lose it. You know how women are. Why?
Yeah.
Why did she agree with him?
I'm gonna be at work in 2 hours to sneak back in.
Well, look what we're gonna start with.
Oh my. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're doing the teeth thing again.
I'm here for the ratification exploratory evaluation.
So the first time he tried this, it was a colossal failure that got him kicked out by security. So he took a couple weeks to think about it, reconsider his strategy, and came to the conclusion that he just needed different teeth. I'm just gonna fast forward through this.
This is the patent for the drink genie.
Yeah.
Pete Weaver.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, boss, it's me.
Now here's the thing, they even established this earlier. He had already patented his invention under his own name. All he had to do was tell his boss that. I don't know, send him an email with the attached documents. He could have done that a month ago. But in his defense, these two scenes were very funny. I can't tell which of these two scenes I like better. There's one where the mom reads a book that's just been like printed on a few sheets of loose paper. Or the scene after that where they do a commercial for the drink genie and then surprise Charlie by demoting him to the mailroom.
And as of today, you're going to start working your way up from the mailroom.
If there's one thing I've learned from movies, it's that every company has a mailroom. And to do it in front of the news, that's just cruel. I mean, these guys mean business. Just look at that microphone.
Hey, kid, you got some moves.
Thanks.
You know what? No matter what anybody tells you, don't you ever stop dancing. You hear me?
Okay.
Can you go away now? You're being weird.
Think you could get me into that dancing competition tonight?
Oh, no. Your mother might kill me.
Huh? She would kill you? What is this universe we're in, where dancing is like this taboo thing that you can only do in secret? You heard the man. It's time for the dance contest, which can only mean one thing: 20 uninterrupted minutes of professional breakdancing. I mean, this is just a treat. Every time you think it's almost over, it just keeps going. Everybody gets their turn. And then another turn. Now, if you like breakdancing, though, this is the best part of the whole movie, because everyone doing it, including Pete, the guy who made the movie, is very good at dancing. I still don't know where the hell they're getting all this money from, but I could see him winning the contest.
And the winner of the 20th annual dance-off is Iceman.
Oh, never mind. He doesn't win.
Yo, Pete, I think you deserve the trophy, man. And the money.
I cannot overstate how out of nowhere that came. These guys have been beefing the entire movie. At times an uncomfortable amount of beef, honestly. And then at the very last second, he's like, you know what? You take it.
I'm gonna take the money from my little beanie. I'm passing the torch to you, man.
Oh, Pete, that's so nice of you, man, to take all $40,000 of cash, but let me keep the little trophy.
Something happens to you when you're competing for your daughter's life. It's adrenaline or love. It takes over every fiber of your body. You have to win, no matter what it takes.
But you didn't win. You're just lucky the Iceman has a heart of gold. But that's not all, guys, because immediately after the contest, at what I can only assume is like 11 o'clock at night on a Tuesday, the Children's Miracle Network calls and tells them that they're gonna fund their daughter's surgery so they don't even need the money anymore. I'm surprised his two friends were like, oh, nice. So does that mean that maybe since we helped you and you don't need the money, that like, we could have some? Hell no. We're rich. That would be a really good way to end the movie if we didn't already know that there's an entirely different ending in store.
Hey, kid. Hey, you can have them. They're my old dance shoes. They're magic, if you believe.
The shoes are magic? It's kind of a weird thing to throw in right at the end.
That was fun. I wonder what I'm gonna draw next.
Oh, I get it now. Those are the teeth from earlier. Well, that answers all my questions. Just kidding. I still don't know who the hell this lady is or why she painted this movie. The entire movie could have been exactly the same and nothing would have changed without the 30 seconds at the beginning with her drawing and the 30 seconds at the end. She's not in the movie at all. She doesn't have a name as far as I can tell. I dare you to find a movie with a better, more out of place twist than this. Something that just completely comes out of not even left field, but like a different baseball park. It's incredible. I mean, like, how do you even come up with that? So like I said, I found the guy on Instagram and honestly, he seems like a pretty cool dude. He's 65 and still dances better than most people my age, certainly dances better than I ever could. Not that I'm surprised or anything. I mean, this is the poppin' lockin' papa from Daddy Can't Dance. 10 years looking for one movie, and all I had to do was wait for Google to update their search results. You might be wondering if I think it was worth the wait, and honestly, yeah, it was pretty good. And for them to pull all of that off with a budget of what I can only assume to be $9 or $10, that's impressive. Well, I've got to go give my magic shoes to a little boy I just met, so I'll see you guys.
Oh, honey.
Ugh, gross.
That was fun. I wonder what I'll draw next.
Babe, can you come here?
What?
Babe, where's my life hack?
What are you talking about?
My life hack, babe. I had a life hack on the toilet. Okay, you know how you're always complaining because my hands are so stinky?
No.
All right, well, I found out the reason they're so stinky is because it's from the toilet. It's from flushing the toilet. It's a handle. So I came up with a life hack, which, hold on, let me see. So you just wrap it around the toilet. Now, look, I can flush and not get my hands dirty. Pretty cool, right? It's a life hack.
Babe, this is ridiculous.
Wait, so you're telling me you haven't noticed any of my life hacks? They're all over the house. See, look, I attached the tape measure to the toaster, so we'd always know how long the toaster is. So you didn't notice the string I put on the peanut butter? So we could grab it from further... Wait, do you smell that? I think that's a life hack. So you don't have to get so close to your phone. Oh, wait, hold on, my mom's calling me. Hey, Mom. Grandpa had a stroke? So you didn't notice this, the sign? It's another life hack, right? You look outside, it's like, oh, it's dark. That must be because it's nighttime, right? So that's how you know when it's nighttime. This is like actually kind of not very helpful at all. So this one I actually learned online. You just cut up 2 cans. These you don't even need. And then all you do is you just tape these 2 halves together and look at that. Now you have 1 can. I think I did this wrong. Actually, this one's really cool. So I made it so when you click on the internet, it goes straight to RuneScape. Now I don't have to search RuneScape every time.
That's not a life hack. That's just how the internet works.
Babe, can you come here for a second? Remember when I gave this to you? Remember our wedding vows?
We're not even married.
I vowed that for as long as we were together, I would support you. I'm doing my life hack thing right now. And you just have to support me, okay? So you can actually, hold on. In this way, you always know
Why do we have so many tape measures?
God damn it, babe. What did I just say? What did I just say? I guess you don't want little tips and tricks to help your life easier. So, fine. Just get out. I'll keep this. And I'm just gonna stay right here. And because I don't need you, I've got my life hacks. I just did make life hacks all day. Oh, you're gonna regret leaving me because my life is gonna be so easy. So much easier than you. Amanda? I was just kidding. She's probably just kidding too. She'll be back. She'll be back. Hey guys, welcome to youtube.com. This is one of the videos on the website. You guys are in for a treat today because not only will you be laughing, smiling, maybe crying, I don't know, but you'll also be learning because today I'm not going to be making fun of anything. I'm just going to be showing you guys some of the coolest and most helpful life hacks on the internet right now. So just sit back, grab a Diet Pepsi, and let's do this. Now, the source of these life hacks is an Instagram account called ViralNova365. And what Instagram is really good for, besides polluting the impressionable minds of young children with rape comedy, is teaching us shit, you know? There's cooking videos, there's makeup tutorials, and best of all, there's some goddamn life hacks.
So pretty simple. Cut into an orange, cut off the top of a bottle, glue it onto the orange. We're just gonna roll that baby around, massage it, get it nice and tender, and oh hell yeah, we're gonna get some of that sweet, sweet juice. Check it out, guys. Check out all of that juice. And that's it. The video's over. That was crazy. Do you want 1 spoonful of orange juice and have 14 minutes to kill? Well, then I've got the solution. Do this. You know, you guys could just buy orange juice. It's not that expensive. So that's fun. Let's check out some more. This should be good. This one's for school, right? Oh no! I thought 4 divided by 4 was 2. But then I thought about it, and then I remembered it's 1. Oh, but what am I gonna do? I'm doing math and pen, which nobody does. I'm gonna use whiteout. That's not a life hack. You're just using a product. You're using whiteout for what it's intended for. Sorry, students, I don't think that's very helpful information. So what's he doing here? He's putting a condom on a phone, and then now that's it? That's the whole life hack? It's just that if you put a condom on a phone, you can still use the phone. But it works great, because now you can use your phone. I don't know what this was for. So many of these, like, I don't even really know what's going on. It's like, what is this one here with you got this gamer boy here. Oh yeah, I love playing my game, having so much fun, but oh, my little feet. Oh, my feet. Oh, wait, what's this? What's he doing? Oh, you're filling up my Coke? Oh yeah, put on the floor. Yeah, put that shit on the floor. Yeah. Now I can roll that shit. If you're gonna make like a life hack that's supposed to fix a problem, at least explain what the problem is, because I didn't get that one at all. Sorry to interrupt the life hacks, but I just found a really cool video called Kids Stuck in Stuff. Look, he's stuck. Uh-oh. Someone get that kid out of there, he's stuck. I did mention that they don't only post life hacks on here, they actually post a whole variety of things. Like this. This certainly isn't a life hack. This is just child porn. Holy shit, how is this real? Ugh, I hate how inconvenient it is to hold a lollipop and have to manually twist. It'd be so much easier if I could hold a 9-pound drill around while I spin that shit real fast in my mouth and just hope that I don't accidentally knock one of my teeth out. Tag a friend who need one. The problem is so many friends come to mind. This guy's a genius! This helpful for? I mean, especially with the 2 examples that they gave, a big mason jar and a paper cup. Throw the cup away. That's my advice. As far as the mason jar goes, you can reach your hand in there. If you're gonna go through all this trouble, at least like do it for like a bottle. Oh, but you know what? You couldn't fit this into a bottle because it's too wide. So the only thing this is good for is jars that are wide enough for you to get your hand in anyway. Ugh, that's so ridiculous. All right, step 1, make a fucking mess. I'll sum this up for you so I don't have to show the whole video. You water down toothpaste, you put it back into the toothpaste, then you take a fucking squirt bottle, and then you hot glue that shit to the end of the tube of toothpaste. You now have a toothpaste-based spray cleaner. Oh, and look how good it is. Look at it, not doing anything. Guys, there are so many of these. Okay, so you cut into the sponge, then you take $1, and then you put the $1 in the sponge. That's the whole thing. Someone chasing you to like steal your $1 from you, and all you have is a sponge and a razor blade. So you put all your money in the sponge. That's actually brilliant. All right, I like this. I like this one. You got your secret test answers. You put it inside a pin, unbeknownst to the teacher. You're cheating. This isn't his fault, but there's like a lot of kids, I think, who will go to extreme lengths to cheat on a test rather than just like fucking use that time, use that drive that you have in this moment to just learn it. And then, you know what? Then you'll have that information forever. That's not true. I don't remember anything I learned at all. Do you like this hack? Let's find out. I'm gonna guess, based on the materials he showed in the beginning, that this entire life hack is just gonna be, look how much he's struggling. So you cut off the top of toothpaste and you take the top of a soap dispenser, which, you know, people just have, and then you put it in the toothpaste, and guess what? Now you can use your toothpaste. Oh my God, that was the money shot? He does all of that to get the like wimpiest little squirt of toothpaste. Here's a little life hack for you guys. If your goal is to be able to squeeze toothpaste out of a thing of toothpaste, what you do is you open up the toothpaste and then squeeze it, and then toothpaste will come out. So next time you guys are trying to brush your teeth but you can't figure out how to do that, just make sure it's open. That's probably what was tripping you up. And then squeeze that shit out. Definitely don't do this, because what you're gonna get is that. So I guess the moral of this video is, no matter how hard your life gets, you can always find a way to make it harder. Thanks for watching, guys. And don't forget to subscribe and comment and like and subscribe. If you made it this far in the video, comment, Drew, I don't like your videos and you seem like you smell bad. And that'll be my way of knowing if people actually watch the whole thing. Actually, I forgot in the last video that I told you guys to comment, fuck you, idiot. And then every time I saw that, there'd be a split second of like, what? I'd get like upset, and then I'd remember that I told you guys to do that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Or you'll see me in the next video. I won't see, why did I say that? I'm not gonna see you guys, that's stupid. Oh, my little feet. Hey guy, welcome back to YouTube.com, a website I made on accident while trying to buy a pair of shoes from Amazon. In today's video, I hope to finally prove once and for all that I do know how to read. So you might remember a couple months ago, I made a video about the Hooked app, mostly just because I was really tired of seeing their ads all the time, specifically this one.
There's a rumor going around that Trevor Holt has the biggest dick.
Now, I was very happy that this video went on to become one of my most viewed. I actually got really worried while making it. I always get in my head when I'm editing my videos, but with this one specifically, I came up with this conspiracy theory that Hooked wasn't actually showing this ad to everyone like I assumed they did. They were only showing this ad to me. And so then when I went to make a video about how annoying the ad was, everyone was just gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen this ad. Thankfully, that's not true. Most people were like, yes, I'm tired of this ad as well. I'm glad you made a video about this. So, lucked out there. Anyway, I'm here for part 2 of this video because Trevor and the Virgin are back. Kind of. Past couple weeks, some people have been reaching out to me saying, hey, there's a sequel to the Trevor and the Virgin story, the long-awaited sequel, the very much needed sequel, even though the first one was like an 11-minute long movie that totally buttoned itself up at the end. It's not like there was like a cliffhanger, something that had to be resolved. Maybe this is actually where the conspiracy theory comes true. Maybe they did only make the sequel so I would see it and make another video about it. Well, joke's on you, Hooked app. That's exactly what I'm doing. Now, I had to reinstall the Hooked app for this. I did delete it after the last one, not before getting charged again because I forgot to cancel. But I re-downloaded the app and I was a little disappointed to find out that it's not another video. It's just a regular story that you gotta read. But then I realized, wait, no, that's even better because the only thing more fun than watching these cringy, awful stories is getting to voice act them myself. Now, I'll sum up the first story real quick in case you forgot from the first video or if you just never saw the first video. Basically, Trevor and the Virgin Part 1 was a story about Martha and this guy Trevor. She didn't like Trevor at first. She liked this other guy, Drew Longhorn.
Yeah, Drew Longhorn.
But then she and Trevor go to a party together. They find out Drew is actually kind of a jerk. And then they kiss.
And there it was.
So that's where we left off. The Virgin is no longer a virgin thanks to Trevor. And they're madly in love, happily ever after, right? Apparently not, because part 2 starts with Martha pretty mad at Trevor. And I'm excited to find out why. I've only read like the first 20% of the story, so let's keep going. Rumor has it that every girl on campus wants Drew Longhorn. Every girl except me. Now, I could have sworn that I owned a cowboy hat. I don't know why I was so sure that I did, because I don't. But this fedora will have to do. Martha, what's up, girl? You're looking good today. I give him a once-over. He looks the same as he always does, which you could pretty much say about every person. Hi, Drew. He pulls out the chair across from me and sits down at my table. Then he flashes his infamous smile. So,
what are you doing here? I look down at my sandwich, then blink up at him. Eating lunch? He doesn't catch my sarcasm. Did I seriously have a crush on this guy? Cool. So why'd you leave the party early last weekend? Things were just getting good between us. I resist the urge to roll my eyes. Clearly, he doesn't remember putting his tongue down Tilla's throat. I had to, study. Speaking of, I better get to class. I go to stand up, but he puts a hand on my arm to stop me. Whoa there, what's the rush? I wanted to ask you something. You got any plans tomorrow? I narrow my eyes with suspicion. Why? The wet party. Yeah, it really says the wet party. That's what the party's called. The wet party. I want you to go. That gets my attention. The wet party is the most exclusive pool party on campus. Only the most popular students get invited, and it sounds like I just got in. Really? I clear my throat to hide my surprise. I have to play it cool. Maybe what time? Starts at noon. Delta House. He reaches in his pocket and pulls out a ticket. His smile widens in challenge as he holds it out. You in? A part of me wants to decline. A wild party like this isn't exactly my scene. But then I think about everything that happened last weekend, and I know I'm up for his challenge. Can I bring a friend? Depends. Is your friend a girl? Yes. He grins wider still, then pulls out a second ticket. Then the more the merrier. But there's one rule. What's that? Hot bathing suits only. None of that conservative crap. Did he just eye my outfit? I nod, hiding my reaction. I lean forward to grab the tickets, but then I stop myself, 'cause there's one thing I need to know first. Do you know if Trevor's going? Drew's quiet for a moment. His gaze is uncharacteristically shrewd as it scans my face. Nah. I heard he has other plans. I reach out and eagerly grab the tickets. Then I'm in. Later that day, I pull a velvet thong bikini from the rack and hold it up to assess myself in the store mirror. Whoa, this is certainly sexy enough, but can a girl like me really pull it off? My best friend's whispered hiss interrupts my thoughts. Whispered hiss. I guess her best friend is a snake. You can't seriously expect me to go to this party. I turn to face her. Why not? I think it'll be fun. She gives me an incredulous look. It makes her glasses... Oh, wait, hold on. It makes her glasses slip down her nose. Fun? Since when do you consider skivvy pool parties fun? Seriously, those things are straight up meat markets. I think I'm gonna ditch the snake thing with this character. Usually on weekends, I can barely tear you away from your science books. Oh my God. I just feel like doing something different, okay? She crosses her arms. She can tell I'm hiding something and knows me too well. Wait, if I'm her best friend and I know her too well, why wasn't I in the first one? They didn't even mention me in the first one, and that was like a week ago. So now I'm the best friend? We met like 3 days ago and I know her so well and I'm her best friend? Yeah, okay. What's this really about, Martha? Oh wait, what the fuck? No! Oh no, I forgot. I'm not gonna pay you money, Hooked. You got $10 from me already, and that was $10 too much if you ask me. Even though a lot of people watched the video I made about you and I definitely made that money back, but still it was too much, okay? It's the principle of it. Fine, if I have to wait 13 minutes, then I'll wait 13 minutes. Hi, Taco Bell? Yeah, I'd like to order a pizza. Yeah, you can put me on hold. 3. Been on hold for a while. Oh, wait, the time, okay. Anyway, what's this really about, Martha? You've been acting weird all week. Does this have anything to do with Trevor Holt? I don't know why I gave her a southern accent, but I'm gonna roll with it. I blow out a long breath. It absolutely does. But I haven't wanted to say anything out loud. Deciding I need to tell her the whole truth, I gather my courage and finally meet her gaze. You know how I told you about our kiss last night? Yeah? Well, afterward, Trevor turned me down. What do you mean? I asked him to, you know. I feel my face heat. I can't say the words, but Deb apparently doesn't have the same problem. Oh my God! You asked him to take your virginity? Ew! I didn't say it like that. I asked him if he wanted to sleep with me, and then He turned me down. Deb rears back in shock. This time her glasses fall off her face. What? After the kiss, we went into my room, we talked for hours, and then I rub a hand over my face, trying not to let my humiliation take hold. And then that was it. I put sex on the table, and he bolted. Trevor Holt bolted. Trevor Holt bolted. Deb looks floored, and I don't blame her. But Trevor never runs away from sex. He runs toward it. He's the guy with the one-night stand ball. I know his reputation. You don't have to remind me. I put my head into my hands. He'd been so nice to me that night, Deb. We connected. We had chemistry. Oh God, I really put myself out there when I told him that I wanted him. I squeezed my eyes shut with embarrassment. And now, I haven't even heard from him since. Whatever, I'm over it. It was probably for the best. I don't even know what I was thinking. He doesn't sleep with girls like me. Yeah, girls like me. Because, you know, I read science books on Saturday night. Deb's face falls. Then she pulls me into a hug. It's his loss, Martha. Forget him, seriously. Let's go to this party. Really? Really. We're gonna have a blast at the party of the year. You don't need some stupid football player to do that. Then she pulls the bikini I've been eyeing from the rack. Go with this one. It's totally your color. I knew the wet party was gonna be wild, but as we stepped through the doors and into the backyard of the frat house, I realized it's not just wild, it's untamed. Shirtless guys are guzzling beer, girls in bright bikinis of every color sprinkle the lawn. There's pure, unadulterated chaos everywhere I look. A grin spreads across my face. This is exactly what I need. Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. I guess she's British now, I don't know. I laugh. Ha-ha! No, we aren't. Now let's... But my words get stuck when I look to the left, because there he is, the boy that isn't supposed to be here. Trevor Holt. My breath leaves my body in a whoosh. He looks just as good as I remember. Strong arms, corded with muscle, wide, solid shoulders, and bright, piercing blue eyes. My heart starts galloping in my chest. I don't want to see Trevor. I swear I don't want to see Trevor, but I can't seem to look away. Wait, that's the end of the episode? Oh my God, how long is this? That's only part 1 of 5? Fuck. Drew walks up to me, effectively blocking my view of Trevor and putting an end to our heated stare down. Martha, you made it. I force myself not to peer around him, but I bounce on my toes, feeling fidgety. Beers are over there in the coolers, but you look like you need something stronger. He holds up a shot. When I toss it back instantly, Deb gives me I guess I shouldn't be wearing Deb gives me a look. I'm gonna grab us a couple waters. Be right back. I nod. What are you doing here, Martha? I stiffen and very slowly bring my gaze to Trevor's. He's standing beside Drew, hands on his hip. God, he looks hot, but he humiliated me last week, so you know what? Screw him. I have every right to be here. I can have just as much fun as the next girl. In fact, I deserve it. Hello to you too, Trevor. And for your information, I was invited here. Is that a problem? Drew throws Trevor a smug grin. She's my date, Holt. None of your concern. He puts an arm around my shoulders, and I do my best not to cringe. But I falter under the weight of Trevor's knowing stare. I turn to Drew. Are there any more shots? Your wish is my command. Yeehaw! And then he rides his horse to the beer cooler. A date with Drew? Really? Part of me wants Trevor to be jealous, but his stare is boring into my soul, and I can't help it. I have to be honest. It's not a date. Drew invited me, and I said yes. That's all there is to it. Trevor crosses his arms over his well-defined chest. I guess I'm just surprised. I thought this sort of party wasn't really your thing. My cheeks turn red, but I try to appear nonchalant. Maybe now it is. Could have fooled me. You look uncomfortable. He continues glowering at me, and I can't figure out what his problem is. What happened to the laid-back, fun-loving guy I met last weekend? Is my presence bothering him that much? My voice rises with my temper. Maybe I'm uncomfortable because you're glaring at me and I have no idea what I did wrong. He blows out a breath, then he looks around, seeming annoyed. Stop worrying, Trevor. I don't expect you to babysit me like last time. I can take care of myself. Are you sure about that? Cause this party gets pretty crazy and I don't want you to... Don't want me to what? Have fun? Live a little? Seriously, what's your problem with me being here? His nostrils flare. I'm worried about you. Why? Because you don't go to parties like this. You're... I'm what, Trevor? Say it. He's just about to respond, but a familiar voice calls his name. Trevor! We're setting up beer pong. Be my partner? I wore a scarf to a pool party. Guys, I was out of hats, I'm sorry. Drew is suddenly by my side again, 2 shots in his hands. Beer pong sounds perfect. I'm way too sober right now, and that needs to be remedied. You down, Martha? I take a shot from Drew's hand and toss it back. I can feel Trevor's hot stare on me the whole time. Drew puts an arm around my shoulder again. When we walk away, oh God, I'm sorry guys, I'm getting lost with all these characters. When we walk away, Trevor follows. He stares as Drew and I set up one side of the table, and he's forced to go to the other. Tilla runs a hand down his arm, then her eyes snag on me. Recognition fills her gaze.
I don't really know what that means.
And her red upper lip curls with disgust. You again, huh? She points a long nail in my direction. You better watch yourself. Trevor pushes her arm down. Be quiet, Tilla. Drew just laughs. God, I can't. Ha ha! Girls, come on. We all just want to have a good time. His arm slithers down my waist, and I see Trevor's eyes lock on the movement. When Drew starts to bring his lips towards my neck, Trevor claps his hands together loudly, startling everyone. Longhorn! Switch sides with me. The glare is too strong over here. I can't see. The sun's in my eyes. Tilla narrows her eyes. Where are your sunglasses? Must have misplaced them. Drew? Drew blinks once, then shrugs. Fine with me. I can see you better from down there anyway. I force a tight smile, but when Trevor walks over, the smile fades. I hate this new tension between us, but I don't know how to fix it. I suddenly feel Tilla's eyes on me again. Drew might not have cared about the partner switch, but I can tell she isn't happy about it. Her hands are crossed under her ample chest. You know, not every detail is necessary. She looks me up and down from head to toe, smirking at my conservative sundress, and then she smiles wickedly. I say we make this more interesting. Let's raise the stakes. Drew's eyes drop to her cleavage. What did your boobs have? What did you have in mind? Strip? Beer pong. Look, but if I have to start taking things off, you won't know which character is which. I'm game. How does it work? Every time Drew or I sink a cup, one of you has to remove an article of clothing. She licks her lips at Trevor, and vice versa. I shrug, trying to look casual. Sounds easy enough. As Drew and Tilla finish setting up their cups, Trevor puts a hand on my arm. I don't think this is such a good idea. I swing angry eyes his way. What is it? Playing strip beer pong? Or me coming to this party in the first place? That's not what I mean. It's not that I don't want you here, or that I don't think you belong. He pauses to rub a hand over his mouth. You're a sweet girl, Martha, and most of the people here are not. I don't want you to get hurt. I'm 21 years old, Trevor, just like you. I'm not some delicate flower, and if anyone has hurt me here, it's you. Crap! I didn't mean to blurt that last part out. Trevor's chest expands as he sucks in sharp breath. How did I? Luckily, Drew interrupts before he can finish. Trevor, let's face off. He tosses a ping pong ball to our side of the table. Trevor catches the ball easily and sets up against Drew. But when they both throw the ball, it's Trevor's that goes into the cup. Drew just shrugs good-naturedly. That's what I get for going up against the quarterback. And he takes full advantage of the situation. He pulls his shirt over his head in slow motion. And yeah, though his body is kind of a masterpiece, I can barely suppress an eye roll. All right, our ball. Hope you guys are ready to get naked.
What am I doing? Okay, I'm actually gonna skip a little bit of this, because I would feel really uncomfortable reading it to you. Basically, Martha's like the first person who has to, strip off something. Then she gets all nervous because, she doesn't want people to see her tits and butt. But then she freaks out, goes inside, and Deb is there, and she's like, no, you can do this. And then she builds up the courage and goes back outside and says this. Tilla, you said top or bottom? How about both? And then she gets fully naked, which I get where the story's coming from. It's like she built up the confidence, but strictly from like the game point of view, you just lost.
But anyway, she gets naked and jumps in the pool, and then everyone gets naked and jumps in the pool, and then Trevor gets naked and jumps in the pool, and then they kiss, and then they put their clothes back on, and then they leave, and then she goes back to her dorm, and it ends exactly the same way that the first one did, with them closing the door and implying that they had sex. So I can only assume that they didn't have sex, and there will be a part 3, and I will not make a video about it. I'm done hooked. I'm done with you. Also, I did just realize this was an audio story that did have voice acting, but after listening to a few seconds of that, I realized it was probably better that I did it myself.
He laughs loudly and spins me around. Splash!
So, in conclusion, the Hooked app. What do we think of it now? 2 months ago, I was very quick to say that the Hooked app was not worth the money because there simply wasn't enough content on it. And now that some time has passed and they've added more content, the new question is Hooked now worth $5 a week? No! I give this app 10 out of 10. Thumbs down. Now, normally this would be the end of the video, but I'm still bitter about the fact that I spent money on this app, and I'd like to get it back with a brand deal. Hi, I'm famous YouTuber Drew Gooden, and I'd like to say a few words at your face. Life is full of obstacles. Sometimes you'll be reading a really cool and awesome story, but then the app you're on makes you wait 13 minutes to read the rest. Sometimes you'll be trying to get out of your garage, but you can't because there's a skateboard in the way. Oh, and I will see all of you guys at the wet party.
You remember the first time you ever went to an arcade and you saw all the incredible, life-changing prizes available and your mind started running wild with possibilities?
Shit, all right. I'll take the electric guitar, the skateboard, the PlayStation 2, 1,000 Tootsie Rolls, that stuffed animal that's taller than me. Hey, Toots, would you mind wrapping them up in plastic for me? I'll wet the bed.
And then 2 hours and $47 later, you realize you've only earned enough tickets to buy one whoopee cushion? Well, not to brag or anything, but I'm old as fuck now. And I'm pretty good at games, or at least better than I used to be. So for this video, I decided to test out an idea that I've wanted to do basically my whole life. I want to find out if you can profit at an arcade. If I just play the one game I'm best at over and over and over again, can I ultimately earn a prize that's worth more than the amount of money that I spent on the tokens? I didn't need to say all that. You read the title, you know what I'm gonna do. So I headed to the second most touristy part of Orlando, Florida, to a place called Main Event, which is somewhere in between Dave & Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese. In spirit, I should say. Geographically speaking, Dave & Buster's is in the middle. This place has everything. Bowling, laser tag, a weird obstacle course hanging from the ceiling. But I don't have time for any of that right now. The reason I dragged my wife here at 3 p.m. on a Friday is to figure out the most efficient game to play and the best prize to buy. Now, this isn't like the old days anymore where you gotta lug around a 75-pound bucket of tokens. The first thing you do here is preload cash onto a fun card, which holds all of your credits and then also the points you earn from the game. And I gotta say, I immediately got overwhelmed from the onslaught of numbers. Okay, so 200 credits is not $40. It's $35, and 300 credits should be, quite frankly, $60, but it's not, it's only $50. And everyone keeps saying that 500 credits costs $100. It doesn't, it's only $75. You save $25 when you buy that, which you can use to buy 140 credits, which is actually $28. And plus, I don't know what any of that means. If I buy this one, does that mean I can play 200 games? No. Most games cost anywhere between 7.5 and 8.5 credits, which are such confusing numbers to keep track of. Why even include a decimal at all? Who thought of this? The last time I came here in 2019, I remember each machine just telling you how much it cost in terms of dollars. But if I had to guess, I'd say they changed it to be purposely confusing so you don't realize how much money you're actually blowing through with every passing game. It's kind of like how if I saw a Fortnite skin that said, this costs $20, I would be like, hell no. I'm not spending $20 on this. I'm gonna buy $20 worth of V-Bucks because then the costume is free. As with most arcades, there are pretty much 3 types of games here. There are the fun ones like Basketball Connect 4, Air Hockey, Flappy Bird but big. Typically these are the ones you earn the least amount of points for playing, but if you're just here to have a good time, that doesn't matter. Then there's the luck-based games, which can, in theory, earn you a whole bunch of tickets, but you have no control over that because it's essentially just a giant slot machine with SpongeBob on it. And then lastly, there are skill-based games where technically you could earn the jackpot every time. The only thing stopping you from doing so is your own ability. The only downside is they're usually tedious and stressful and the least fun options out of all the games in the arcade. So in other words, they're perfect for this video. Let me tell you, I was ecstatic when I walked in and saw that they still had this ball cup game. This is the machine I had in mind when I was planning this video because I used to abuse the hell out of this. While the rest of my friends were playing skee ball and enjoying themselves, I was just standing on this machine for 1 whole hour, hoping to earn the best prize out of the group. See, I was playing the long game. Sure, maybe you guys had more fun that night because you got to play Mario Olympics and Vin Diesel Simulator, but I get to have this forever. So, who actually came out on top? Anyways, back to the ball game. So the goal with this is to get all 50 balls into these spinning cups without losing any of them, and you have to do so before time runs out. You really gotta try to be perfect with this one because the difference between getting 49 balls and getting all 50 is massive. But once you get the rhythm down, it's possible to start stacking jackpots and become the queen of the arcade. When I started out though, I was blowing through tries so fast. I'd started sweating. Immediately, I got very tense and nervous. I think the pressure of the video was mounting on me. And every time I would be just 1 ball away from the jackpot, the disappointment and frustration would hit me like a ton of bricks. Or a ton of feathers. They both weigh the same. But I managed to calm myself down, gain my composure, and on my 10th try, I did it. Give me that jackpot, baby. That'll be 711 points, please.
I love you now.
Now I just gotta stand here for 4 minutes while the machine counts up all my points one at a time for some reason. Why does this take so long? Is there a little guy in there trying to count them up by hand? Just use a calculator, dude. It's like they're trying to discourage you from winning the jackpots by making them inconvenient. Well, while we're waiting for that, I do just want to say, unironically, I was so relieved when I won this. I think I had built this video up so much in my head over the past couple years, and I just felt it all falling apart before my eyes. When I started losing again and again and again, I started to freak out and think, did they make the game harder? Or worse, am I just dumb now? Am I gonna have to go to Chuck E. Cheese? They'll never let me in there. I'm almost 30. Oh, hey, my points are done. With the satisfaction of 1, that's right, a single win in my belt, I decided to just enjoy the rest of my night with Amanda, knowing I was gonna have to come here by myself later in the week anyway. We went bowling for the first time in about 5 years, which reminded me that I am possibly the worst bowler in the entire world, including babies. I think a baby would do better than I did. The second game though, I was like, wait, who are we trying to fool by doing regular mode? Let me just throw the bumpers up and then we'll have way more fun. Just kidding, I sucked at that too. Then we ate dinner, which was, it was fine. There's just something about cubed meat that makes me feel like I'm being given my rations for the day. When we were done eating, I decided to try out a few other games, but I quickly came to the conclusion that nothing was going to be as productive or efficient as Quick Draw. I should probably talk about the prizes, because that's the other thing I have to figure out. The single most expensive item in here is, for some reason, a minion named Turbo Dave. Just below that are some random kitchen appliances, some extremely cheap looking electronics, electronics, you know, the kind of headphones you buy for $3 at a CVS checkout line and they stop working before you even make it back to your car. There's a bunch of vlogging and podcasting gear. Then they've got a few plushies, which range from Among Us to terrifying. A fake wad of gum, you know, for pranks. And then finally, a whole bunch of candy that you throw in when you don't have very many points left. I always find it interesting to see how they price these things because it's not like there's a 1-to-1 ratio of points to dollars. Like, I don't think that the minion on a hoverboard is worth 14 Marvel mugs or 400 blow pops, but I'm not in charge of an arcade.
All right, babe, let's see that haul.
That's just what Amanda got with her entree and tickets. I found out you can save your points for up to 5 years. I don't think I'm gonna be saving them that long, but I am gonna come back in a couple days. I've got about 1,700 points stocked up. $37 in, I believe. So yeah, not off to a great start in terms of profiting, but I may have discovered a loophole. You see, anytime you buy something at Main Event, they give you the option to fill out a survey on their website in exchange for a free 30-minute game card. If I could stand on this machine for 30 straight minutes, I could win thousands of tickets without having to spend even $1 more. It's the perfect plan. So I headed back to the second most touristy part of Orlando, and I swiped my card again, and I dropped those balls. And turns out you don't actually get any points from the free plays. So, 'twas not the perfect plan. But I still had fun. Not that that matters for this video. I did get to play possibly the funniest game of Deal or No Deal in its entire history. Obviously, I couldn't risk ending up with only one ticket, so I decided to accept his offer of one ticket. Anyway, after farting around for half an hour, I decided to just suck it up, spend another $35, and I headed back to my favorite stress game. Took me a few tries to get back into the swing of things, but on my 5th game, I won the jackpot. Then 3 games later, I won it again, and 2 games later, I won it again, and at this point, no one could stop me. I won twice in a row, then 3 times, then 4 times, before capping my streak off at 5 consecutive jackpots. If this isn't poggers, then I don't know what is. Grandma, if you're watching this, poggers is a gaming term for when someone does a good job. So, can you tell Grandpa too? Also, do you like how nervous I look filming all of these shots? I felt like the biggest idiot every time I picked up my phone to record myself winning the stupid game. The thought of someone watching me be proud of this is so embarrassing. Just looking at me from across the room like, does this guy have a job? It's Wednesday, go home. Well, sorry to break it to you, person I made up in my head, but this is my job now. The arcade is my office, and I'm gonna give myself a raise. Just when I could feel myself starting to get a little bit too cocky, the universe sent another obstacle my way. Maximum payout? So now I'm getting punished for being too good at the game? At this point, I'm pissed. At least warn me ahead of time when I'm getting close. Like, hey, you might want to slow down there, big guy. This machine's almost empty. Also, what? You ran out of virtual tickets? Just make more of them. I thought about it, and I think this might be why they count up your points so slowly. So that by the time they've arbitrarily decided to stop giving you points, you've already spent $8 more on the machine, all for nothing. I even had to watch them count up my unawarded tickets one by one, and at this point, you're just taunting me. Anyway, when the dust finally settled, I had lost about 1.5 jackpots. Very upsetting, not gonna lie, but I don't think this completely ruins my plan. I'm pretty sure this is only a temporary limit. I think it's just there to keep you from hogging one machine during peak hours, which is fair, by the way. If I had a line of kids behind me waiting for their turn and I was just like, sorry, I'm making a video, that would be pretty selfish. But I came here in the middle of a school day and there was nary a child in sight. Since I wasn't sure if I'd ever have this many points at once again, I decided to cash out on day 2 and buy myself the hot dog toaster I had my eyes on from the moment I walked in the room.
Now, I'm not sure I would say that this is the best day of my life, but it's definitely in the top 5. I actually feel kind of bad because I had to get one of the employees to not only grab a ladder from the storage room, but also get like a special key to unlock the high value prize section. And he seemed really confused. I was hoping he might be like, oh, that's funny, you got the hot dog toaster. No one's ever redeemed this before. But I don't think he really said more than 2 words.
All right, babe. I know you had a long day at work. Close your eyes. I know work's been crazy lately, but I have something for you. Open your eyes.
Thanks.
It's not for you.
If I open it and there's like crumbs in it, I'm gonna laugh.
I'm gonna cry. Oh, it's smiling at us.
Was that a thing? Was hot dog toasters
I
a
doubt
thing?
it.
All my baby boomers in the chat, sound off. Was hot dog toasters a thing? Let me know.
With enough credits left to play 9 more games of Quick Drop, I headed into day 3 with a very clear goal in mind. From all the Googling I've done, I'm pretty sure this Marvel mug has the best points to potential resale value ratio of all of the redeemable items here. If each attempt cost me about $2, and I think I could reasonably sell this mug for $10, that means out of 5 tries, I only need to get 2 jackpots to turn a profit. If I get really lucky and win 5 jackpots in a row like I did yesterday, then I'd have enough for 3 mugs, at which point I could be potentially making a $20 profit. And so on and so forth until I've sold 1 mug to every human being on the face of the planet, and I'll finally have enough money to buy my own private island that no one's invited to. Also, fine, I'll explain my strategy with the game so you too can try to win at this specific machine in Orlando, Florida. The secret is to just drop 4 balls at a time. That's pretty much it. They even show you that in the little tutorial video that plays, and yet I still see so many people try to drop all 50 balls in 1 second like they're in a hurry to lose. If you drop exactly 4 balls every spin, which is pretty easy to do, you will end up with 48 out of the 50 balls with the time that you are given. That means at some point during the 12 turns, you only have to drop 1 extra ball twice to end up with 50. Personally, I like to get those 5th balls out of the way early so I know how hard I need to focus for the rest of the game, but if you'd rather save them for the end because you'll have the rhythm down at that point, I can't blame you. I'm just impressed that you flew all the way to Orlando to play this game. As usual, I got off to a bit of a shaky start. Probably didn't help that I forgot to take my Tom Brady brain pills like I did on day 2. I hope they don't consider that an illegal substance here, and it's not like the arcade equivalent of steroids in baseball. But after a few tries, I was able to win the massive jackpot that everybody else had graciously accrued for me. You see, every time someone loses this game, the jackpot goes up by 1 and resets when someone wins. So this means there had been about 300 losses in a row, and I got to benefit from that. That's another variable to throw into the math here, but even without that, 600 points is nothing to sneeze at. Anyway, after 3 days of mashing 1 button a million times and a hot dog toaster already sitting pretty in my kitchen, I headed to get my reward. Lucky for me, I got to ask the same guy from yesterday for help grabbing the LED sign that was just out of my reach. Instead of using a ladder though, he just kind of climbed on top of the shelves, and I really admired the creativity. Am I gonna somehow profit off of this sign? No. But to me, having a man cave that's open all day, every day, is priceless. Oh, also I grabbed the mug that I came here for. I keep getting distracted by funnier prizes. As much as I wanted to race home and enjoy a celebratory cup of decaf coffee out of my new mug, it was time to get down to business. And I threw that bad boy up on the world's worst commerce website, Facebook Marketplace, and I waited and waited and waited. And just when I was starting to lose hope, my friend Cody offered to buy it from me with real American money. Sorry for the abrupt exit, Cody, but I had to rush home and count my earnings.
10?
I couldn't believe my success. I earned enough points to buy that mug with 1 game of Quick Drop. These kind of profit margins are unheard of. Jeff Bezos who? There's a new guy in town. Why did I even bother going to community college for 8 months when I could have been investing that tuition money into the school of video games? Let's go ahead and break down the numbers, shall we?
I don't have a regular dry erase board, so this calendar is gonna have to do.
Day 1, we spent $37. I still don't know why it was 37 and not 35. I guess the card itself, it cost $2 because when I refilled it, it was exactly 35 the next day, but I don't fucking know. We also spent $48 on bowling and $70 on food and drinks, but that doesn't count. That's not part of it. I'm just saying that that's what we did. Okay, but $72 spent on game credits, and here is what we earned. Number 1, a state-of-the-art hot dog toaster, a relic of simpler times, a rare and priceless artifact that is currently being sold on Amazon for $25. But let's say I was gonna buy that anyway, and in doing so, I saved $25, which is almost like earning $25, because penny saved, penny earned. Benjamin Franklin? Last I heard, he's the guy who electrocuted himself on purpose, so I think he knows a thing or two about math. We also got the man cave sign, and again, let's say I was gonna buy that anyway. Well, currently, that's being sold on eBay for an average of about $40. At less than 2,000 points, that's a bargain. If you're wondering why I didn't just try to sell that one instead, that's because I didn't think anyone would buy it. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Finally, of course, we have the mug, which I sold for $10. Now, if you have a calculator at home and you're playing along, you may have noticed that this number is bigger than this number. I'm trying to think if there's a word for that, like a math word, you know, for when you make more money than you spend on something. What's the term again? Oh, that's right, I think it's called a profit. And that's not even mentioning the fact that I practically threw away half my tickets on day 1, and the machine stole over 900 points from me on day 2, and I forgot to get my parking validated on day 3, so I had to pay for that myself. Also, I guess if you factor in like gas and stuff, because I had to drive a lot, that's probably another like $15. You know what, on second thought, I think we're just gonna call that part a wash. I made a $3 profit, and that is a success. So to answer the question of can you profit at an arcade, the answer is technically yes. Obviously, it depends on which arcade you're at, what prizes they have, if there's a machine that you can win consistently. But for this specific ball drop machine, I have learned that if I just win jackpots over and over and over again, making sure to take breaks so I don't hit the payout limit, I can absolutely redeem my points on something that I would have wanted to buy anyway and save a few bucks in the process. Am I gonna somehow turn this into a full-time job? You never know. I mean, I would pretty much be actively crashing the blue Marvel mug market by increasing the supply so much. Absolute best case scenario, I could see myself locking in minimum wage, but I would run out of people to sell mugs to eventually. Or, before any of that happens, the arcade might just run out of them, or they'll catch on to what I'm doing and nerf the machine I like, or raise the price of the prizes, or put a photo of my face on the wall that says, "Do not let this guy play quick drop, he is bleeding us dry." I guess if I had to pick one thing that I learned in this video, it's that unless you have a concrete plan going into it, and you've already done the math, you're probably only going to lose money at an arcade. Also, don't do what I almost did in this video and get really excited by the idea of selling something for a profit, because I almost got like a bunch of mugs before even seeing if they would sell, and then I barely sold one of them. Remember, the value of a product is only what someone is willing to pay for it. This isn't RuneScape. I can't just throw my Avengers mug into the Grand Exchange and get a bunch of gold coins for it. I have to use Facebook Marketplace, and Facebook Marketplace is the worst. All right, well, I'm gonna go toast a hot dog, which apparently is a thing that people do. Hello and welcome everybody to the first annual hot dog taste test. Before me, I have prepared 2 different hot dogs, one of which I grilled. The other one I, of course, toasted with our novelty retro hot dog toaster. Also, both buns are toasted in there. They've got a nice even burn on the bottom. So I'm excited about that. But what Amanda's gonna do is she's gonna mix them up, and then I'm gonna close my eyes and try to guess which is which, and then also say which one I like more. And we'll see if the hot dog toaster is superior. All right, bottoms up. It's hard to even taste the hot dog because the bun is so burnt and dry. I think that was the toasted one because that didn't really taste like much. I guess we'll see. That tastes way better. That's gotta be the grilled one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guy, I want to start this video by telling you about something very dumb that I did recently, and I'm going to preface the story by saying that this was entirely my fault. There are probably 50 things I could have done differently to avoid what ended up happening, but I didn't. And that's on me. So I got a new car last month. For most of my adult life, I've been driving a 2012 Honda Civic that I bought from CarMax in 2015. I'll never forget the day I rolled up to my job at Popeyes and felt like the coolest guy in the parking lot. Took the Max part of the sticker off so it just said car on the back. Had a lot of fun back then. And even though this car was very reliable for pretty much the entire time I had it, it was starting to show its age, and I got to a point where I kind of just wanted something that felt nicer to be in. So I splurged a little bit, traded it in for one of the coolest sports cars on the market right now, a 2021 Hyundai Sonata. Now that's not the dumb part. There are so many things about this car that are massive upgrades over what I had before. There's a rear view camera, there's blind spot indicators, I don't have to plug my phone in anymore to play music, it beeps at me if I move 1 inch in either direction on the highway. It's a great car. But there are also things about cars made in the past decade that aren't necessarily better, they're just different. For one, why as a society did we get rid of the Prindle? I have spent the past 15 years of my life building the muscle memory of yanking around my car's joystick to tell it where to go, and now it's just buttons? And I don't have the muscle memory for that. I'm starting to develop some due to time passing, but for the first couple weeks I owned this car, I would have to stop looking this way so I could look down and see where the backwards button is. So that brings me to my story. 6 days after I bought this car, I was leaving a U-Haul storage facility and the exit gate was open. Now I've been there enough to know that sometimes, even though the exit gate is supposed to close, it'll just not. So I gave it a couple seconds, decided, yeah, it's gonna stay open, and started driving forward. And you will never guess what happened the exact moment I made that decision. Yeah, gate started closing. So naturally I'm like, uh-oh, this gate is going to hit my new used car. I should move out of the way. So I hit the reverse button, start accelerating, and my car moves forward. Now, if you've ever been operating a motor vehicle that starts moving in the opposite direction that you intended it to, you probably know about the panic that sets in. And I was running out of time. I could feel the gate inching nearer and nearer. So in the heat of the moment, I very wisely decided to do the exact same thing that didn't work the first time. I hit the reverse button, hit the gas pedal, and once again, my car moves forward. At this point, the only thing I've managed to do is get more in the path of the gate. And before I could try my foolproof strategy a third time, it crashed into the side of my car and the alarm went off and it made a big old scratch that'll probably cost a couple $100 to get buffed out and repainted. I don't know the exact amount yet because I'm too embarrassed to tell anyone what happened. Anyway, I've had about a month now to process this, and I'm of two minds. On one hand, it is kind of hilarious that I waited 9 years to buy a new car and I couldn't even get through 1 full week without fucking it up. I would love to see the security footage of me stopping in front of a closing gate, quickly accelerating, stopping, accelerating again, stopping again, before getting out and yelling, "God damn it!" It probably looked really fun. But then, on the other hand, I am kind of like, well, what the fuck happened? Because like I know that I hit the reverse button 2 separate times and both times my car just decided not to do it.
I tried recreating this exact scenario in a parking lot to pinpoint exactly where I went wrong. And my best guess is just that I hit the accelerator and the reverse button at the same time, which triggered the car's computer to be like, hey, you can't do that. You're gonna hurt the transmission. Let's hurt the side of the car instead.
And like, it's a good thing that there's a mechanism in place to prevent the car from changing gears when you're moving too quickly. If I hit the reverse button while driving 70 miles per hour down the highway, I actually would want my car to ignore that. I'm pretty sure there was a similar mechanism in my old car. The difference is, though, that if this exact scenario happened while I was driving that one, there would have been physical feedback to tell me it was still in drive, and maybe I would have been less likely to floor it twice. In order to get the same confirmation from a button, you have to press it, look down at the dashboard, find the part that indicates what gear the car is in, process that information, and then react accordingly. And even if you can do all that very quickly, it still takes longer to send that information to your brain than if you can just feel where your hand is. And again,
I'm the dumbass here. There are so many things I could have done differently. If I had just immediately accelerated as soon as I got to the gate, I would have made it through with time to spare. I also could have taken 3 extra seconds to just type my code in. I even could have stayed in bed all day and never gone anywhere near this gate, and that would have been a better decision too. But unfortunately, I didn't do any of those things. I did this, and I'm gonna have to live with that for the rest of my life. But my funny little mishap got me thinking about all these things I've seen over the past couple years of people getting screwed over by like modern features in their cars, and it made me want to do some research about it. And my takeaway is that while it would be untrue to say that cars have gotten worse, I do think they've gotten dumber.
I looked up why cars made the shift from the Prindle stick to just buttons, or a touchscreen on the ceiling, or a wheel that's right next to the volume knob that hopefully has never caused a hilarious but unfortunate accident. And it turns out the main reason is just that the stick is not necessary anymore, because you're not physically changing the gear, you're just telling the car's computer what to do. Which, like, I get it, you know, I'm not here to stand in the way of progress. I just think that if you have to create a new problem in order to fix something that wasn't really a problem to begin with, you're not being as innovative as you might think you are. Without a doubt, my biggest personal gripe with how cars are made now is touchscreen dashboards. Almost 80% of new cars in 2022 had some kind of touchscreen display built into it. It's just the norm now. And on the surface, it seems like an improvement. I mean, obviously this is more advanced technology than this. Gross. I bet this one doesn't even have 12 different menus I can flip through to try to figure out how to get my turn signals on. It just doesn't make much sense to me when there's already such a massive increase in distracted driving and accidents and deaths that happen because of it, that they're adding this thing into cars that you literally have to look at to be able to use. There's a Swedish magazine that ran this test a couple years ago where they had people drive 12 different cars down the highway and timed how long it took for them to complete the same series of tasks in each of them. And the winner by far was a 2005 Volvo. Now, this doesn't mean that 2005 Volvo is the best car. It just means that for basic tasks like changing a radio station or turning the AC on, physical buttons that you can memorize the location of are the quickest and safest way to do those things. You don't have to look away from the road to be able to find where the button is. I think ideally modern cars are built with the right combination of actual buttons for basic tasks and the touchscreen for more advanced features, most of which you don't really need to use while driving anyway. And it does seem like some of the companies that maybe over-embraced this technology a few years ago have started to peel back and find a happy medium. But what absolutely drives me crazy is cars that have consolidated the entire dashboard into one giant iPad. Windshield wipers? We put it on the touchscreen. Want to turn the air down a little bit? We put it on the touchscreen. I think the irony of these kinds of interfaces is that they give the illusion of luxury. This certainly seems like the more innovative option until you realize that the main reason they're so prevalent in cars now is because it is the cheapest way to build one.
It actually costs a lot of money to engineer all of these buttons and switches and to have the wiring. Doing all of that in software is a lot cheaper.
It is more expensive to produce actual knobs and buttons than it is to just throw every function onto one screen, make it compatible with Apple CarPlay, and call it a day. And then when something goes wrong, it's just a software problem. We'll figure it out. Or maybe we have to replace the entire thing and it's gonna be $4,000. Who's to say? And I didn't even mention the fact that if the screen does end up malfunctioning in a car that's entirely reliant on it, it's not just a minor inconvenience, it means you can't drive the car until it gets fixed. Some of the extra hoops I've seen people have to jump through in order to accomplish basic tasks now are mind-boggling. You know how sometimes you have the AC on, but it ends up blasting right into your hand, so you have to reach over and change the direction of the vent? Well, that's fucking dumb, okay? That's how a caveman would do it. It makes way more sense to go on over to the car tablet, find the AC control button, select the air vent you want to change, and then drag it where you want it to go, all while barreling through a school zone. While watching a bunch of videos of car dashboards, I happened upon this 1989 Toyota, and there's something so beautiful about it. Look at that subtle burgundy interior, the tasteful thickness of those buttons. Oh my God, it even has a seatbelt. But I'm aware that I'm over-romanticizing the past a little bit, because if I truly wanted a car that looked like this, I could have just bought one. Like, I do want modern features. I do want a car that's able to do the things that my phone can do. But if these things are implemented in a way that forces you to look away from the road in order to be able to use them, I think we should reconsider how we got here. Cars have been around for about 100 years now, and it kind of seems like maybe we figured out the best way to make them and ran out of ways to meaningfully innovate. But that doesn't really work when you're trying to get people to buy a new one every single year, so you have to find something you can add to make it seem like there's been a big improvement. Things like door handles that retract into the car, which I guess is cool. I don't know if I've ever thought of the handle sticking out 3/4 of an inch as being an issue, but I'll admit it adds some sleekness to the car, and it's not like it's making things worse, right? What's that? If it gets too cold outside, the handles don't work anymore? Yeah, no, I could see how that might not be great.
Tesla fixed this problem with a software update last October. You can just press this to pop the door open when the door handles are frozen.
Great news, everyone. We've updated the app so you can now get into your car during the winter. So consider that problem solved.
But didn't you create the problem in the first
We're
place?
actually not taking any questions at this time.
My favorite thing about these door handles is no matter how many times I get an Uber driver that's in a Tesla, I don't know how to get inside. I'm sure it's very simple, but clearly I'm struggling enough as it is. One thing I haven't seen as many people talk about, but has driven me crazy for the past few years is headlights are getting brighter, right? Like, that's not just me. I cannot tell you how many times I've been driving down a 2-lane road at night and a car passes me with headlights so unbelievably bright, I cannot see anything for like 10 seconds. Hopefully I'm still in my lane. I guess I'll find out soon. Now, this is one of those things that's a double-edged sword, right? Because in theory, brighter headlights should make driving safer because visibility is improved. But I feel like it has to negate a little bit of the safety when those headlights don't just hit the road and instead shine directly into the eyes of oncoming drivers. I looked it up, and the two things that are causing this are, one, manufacturers using LEDs now instead of the softer and yellower halogen bulbs from the last couple decades. LEDs tend to be brighter and more compact, so they hit even harder when you're staring down the barrel of one.
Oh, this one for sure.
But the other reason for this is a byproduct of something that I think is in itself a problem, which is that cars are so much bigger now than they've ever been. So if you're driving a sedan in the opposite lane of a brand new Suburban, those lights are gonna have to go through your eyeballs in order to hit the road. There's something a little paradoxical about the safety of cars now, where they are much safer than they've ever been, while also posing more of a threat than they ever have. A brand new truck may have great safety ratings because it's twice as big as every other car around it, but now every other car around it has to worry about getting demolished by a truck that's twice as big as them. Pedestrian deaths in America have skyrocketed over the past decade, and I don't think it's a coincidence that that's happening while cars continue to get taller and heavier for mostly no reason other than because they can, because there's no regulations stopping them from doing it. And if a truck being way bigger than it needs to be is what convinces someone to sign up for a $1,200 a month car payment, why would those car companies have any incentive to stop? It's created this cycle where I think a lot of people feel like the only way forward is to fight fire with fire. Everyone else has a giant car, well, I guess I need to get one for myself. I remember seeing this post a few months ago where this guy talked about how lucky he was to have been driving in such a gargantuan SUV when he got in an accident because he and his family were able to walk away unharmed. And obviously, that's great that they're okay. This could have ended very tragically, and I'm happy that it didn't. But for someone to see this and their takeaway to be, see, this is why everyone should buy the biggest SUV they can because it's the only way to keep your family safe. You're not taking into account the fact that in a lot of cases, these giant trucks and SUVs are the danger.
Since the introduction of SUVs, there has been a massive increase in what are called front overs, a person, usually a child, getting run over by an SUV by a driver who can't even see them. Over a 10-year period, over 500 American children were killed by being run over by SUVs.
I mean, shit, why stop here? I think every American citizen should drive around in a military-grade tank. Yeah, we might run over a few more kids, but as long as they're not my kids, who gives a shit? Now, of course, I cannot make a video about cars that are bigger than they need to be, and dumber than they need to be, and more dangerous than they need to be, without talking about the one that lies squarely in the cross-section of that Venn diagram, the Tesla Cybertruck.
Welcome to the Cybertruck unveil. It is literally bulletproof. Ultra hard stainless steel. Really hard. Of course, it will come with autopilot standard. Franz, could you try to break this glass, please?
Oh my fucking god.
So this awesome car, which looks like when you first boot up a video game and not all of the textures have loaded in yet, was announced a couple years ago as starting at $40,000. Fast forward to today. Anyone who is driving one of these right now, the bare minimum that I've seen any of them spend 100 grand. One of the biggest reasons for this absolutely bonkers price jump is this $20,000 foundation fee. That's right, there's an additional fee tacked on that is almost as much as what I spent on my entire car. So you're probably dying to know what that bonus gets you. Well, some people who paid for it don't even seem to know.
$20,000 for it being a foundation series. Now, I don't know what that really means or anything, but yeah, I paid it because I wanted the truck.
So at first I thought it was just that it says the word foundation on it, which would be really funny. But apparently most of what that fee is meant to be attributed to is the self-driving feature that you would otherwise have to pay a separate monthly fee to access.
Of course, it will come with autopilot standard.
Now, one tiny little thing to note about this feature is that it is not available yet, and no one can even hazard a guess as to when it will be. So as it currently stands, the only thing this $20,000 fee gives you is priority access to a car that's littered with problems.
Oh shit. Oh, we already broke it. All right, so my Cybertruck is completely broken. My foot is on the floor and it's not moving.
This gear selector at the top, it just dropped down. Something's going on with the windshield. What? I got all these warnings I never seen before. I'm trying to open up the trunk. It won't respond. I'm going back and forth trying to close it. It won't close. It won't close. It won't close. When the tailgate's down, the camera's showing you the street. I have had enough.
At this point, I think I know more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive on Earth.
I have to say, I have really enjoyed watching videos lately from people who may or may not be in denial about the absurd amount of money wasted on this stupid car. They'll make these update videos where they complain about so many things they hate about it, and then be like, and that's why it's a perfect car. And I have no regrets.
This car is definitely worth the hype. This thing right here is a fingerprint magnet. I just got my car washed yesterday and there's still water spots. I noticed that my roof was starting to come off. Their navigation system sucks. It's rusting on the inside. It was like this when I picked it up. I definitely think it's worth $100,000.
So included with the Foundation series, you get all weather floor mats. And if you look right up here, there's a little Cybertruck logo.
Wait, did you say floor mats for all weather? Well, never mind then. They should have charged an extra $50,000. Sorry, I should be more sensitive. These people are going through enough right now. It's bad enough their car is falling apart, but they're also getting relentlessly bullied. Cyber clown trucks for stupid. Give it to the stupid clown to spend their life away. And this guy just said gay truck. That's like a truck owner's worst nightmare. I will say one thing I do really love about this car is that the rear view mirror doesn't work. Its view is completely obstructed most of the time. I mean, if you want, you can just look down at the screen at the rear view camera, but that also becomes useless if it gets even a little bit dirty. And isn't driving through dirt kind of the whole point of having a truck? That's all they do in commercials. Now, if off-roading is the thing you want to do in this truck, good luck, because it doesn't seem to know how to do that.
My friend in the 4Runner wanted to take that incline challenge, and he killed it. The Subaru also went up that incline. The Cybertruck did not make it up that incline. And once we got to about the middle of the incline, it would stop. We tried airing down to 30 PSI, but it still did not make it up the hill.
Also, you're not gonna believe this, but part of his car broke while he was doing this. How does this keep happening? To be fair though, look how easily it navigates this puddle of mud. I mean, if I tried to drive through that in my old Civic, I literally would have drowned. But this truck can do things that I've never seen any vehicle do before. Yes, technically, this road is paved, but they're still in the woods. That's gotta count for something. This truly is the all-in-one vehicle. You can drive out in the middle of nowhere and sleep there if you want. It even comes with its own tent that you can attach to the back of the truck for an additional $3,000. Now, considering you can get a pretty big tent for like $100, you'd probably assume that this thing is decked out with premium features. No, it's just a tent. A 1-inch thin mattress, a couple of straps, a zipper that barely works. But since it's an official Tesla product, you know you're getting that signature high-quality engineering.
Oh, that didn't sound good. It's broken.
It even comes with a bicycle pump, so you can spend 10 minutes manually blowing it up. For $3,000, you should be able to hit a button and watch this thing assemble itself. It is crazy to me how much they're able to overcharge for the most basic shit. Cosmetically, this stainless steel, absolutely gorgeous. It does pick up the occasional fingerprint. if you touch it at all. But as long as you don't get in the car or anywhere near the car, you've got nothing to worry about. And if it does get a little spotty, not a problem, just take it through a car wash. But if you do that, make sure you put it on car wash mode first, otherwise it'll break the truck and void your warranty.
The Cybertruck does not work anymore. Listen to the noise this thing makes. That has a weird popping sound. So what did I do different? Today I went to the beach, took it through the car wash, make sure all the sand's off. Then I pulled it in the garage and nothing.
This thing is practically invincible. You can hit it with a hammer. You can hit it with a shopping cart. But if it gets any bugs on it, you need to clean that off immediately or you will ruin it forever. The Cybertruck is also famously bulletproof for some reason, although I'm not really sure why they've made that one of the primary selling points.
When you shoot a normal truck, the bullets go in one side, straight through, and out the other side. You cannot hide behind the vehicle to be safe, so it's something to keep in mind.
Keep in mind for what? Who are you marketing this car to? John Wick? The things they chose to prioritize while making this truck are baffling to me. Who gives a shit that it's bulletproof if the material they had to use to make it that way makes it so razor sharp you cut your hand every time you open the door? Who cares how strong the interior is if it can't even get wet? They're calling it a car made for any planet. Guys, why don't we start with making it work on this one? As far as safety goes, I've seen conflicting reports about this. There's a crash that happened between a Cybertruck and a Toyota Corolla, and if you look at the photos from the accident, you might think, wow, this truck is invincible. It barely got a scratch on it. Meanwhile, the guy in the Corolla is probably seriously hurt, right? No, he's fine. The problem with this rigid outer body is that cars are designed to crumple in an accident. That's their way of absorbing as much force as possible. If your car doesn't crumple, that force will be passed on to the passengers inside of it. So while the Cybertruck may look like the world's most indestructible car, a lot of people who know more about physics than I do aren't so sure this is a good thing. I think what Tesla has done the most successfully with this truck is make it so their target audience doesn't care about any of these problems. I've seen people online who are actively enduring nightmare situations still go out of their way to defend this company. Cybertruck broke down on my first road trip with my family, lost the back motor and was unable to drive, had to get it towed 2 hours back home. First year problems. Always good to wait a year or two on a brand new model. I know this as an early 3/Y owner, but man, come on. Had to grab the Cybertruck. No, you didn't. And it definitely seems like you shouldn't have. I found this guy on Twitter whose experience perfectly encapsulates the Cybertruck launch. His truck broke pretty much immediately. He got that patented flashing red critical service error, couldn't even drive it, had to pull over. Since then, it's been in the shop for weeks with no word on how long it's gonna take to fix. There's apparently at least 10 different things wrong with it. Wire harness needs replacement, ripple in windshield, driver's seat rubbing on center console, headliner sagging, chip and foundation series dashboard trim, mobile connector provided with Cybertruck not charging the truck past 6 amps, front misalignment, one side is higher, rear side arch misalignment sticking up. It could be another month before this guy gets his $100,000 car back. In the meantime, they're making up for all the trouble they've caused him by letting him borrow a regular Model 3 Tesla, which he himself described as being filthy with a strong, unpleasant odor that has persisted even after he went to the trouble of cleaning it inside and out. And it is fascinating to watch this guy, who has been absolutely fucked by Tesla, continue to go to war on Elon's behalf. People often criticize what they don't fully grasp, but the moment you take the wheel of a Cybertruck, everything changes. You'll quickly discover that all other trucks pale in comparison, becoming obsolete in the Cybertruck's shadow. Hey guys, it's been like 2 weeks since you took my car. Are you almost done fixing it, or? They've got it all twisted. Instead of comparing the Cybertruck to other trucks, they should compare the other EV truck's features and capabilities to those of the Cybertruck. Then it becomes clear just how superior the Cybertruck is and how the other trucks are stuck in the dinosaur era. Hey, my car has been in the shop for its entire life so far. Do you think I'm ever gonna be able to drive it again? While other trucks are busy playing catch up, the Cybertruck is already in the future, being the undisputed champion. Hating on the Cybertruck might get you more engagement and clicks, but I'll never fake it to make it. I love my Cybertruck.
Really wish I could get my truck back this weekend. Still no update.
Dude, if I was this guy, I would be furious. He has every right to be pissed off here, but he seems to be more mad at the people telling him he's been scammed than at the company that actually scammed him. I've spent so much time this month watching videos of people driving this car and talking about this car and hating on this car, but at the end of the day, it's not fair for me to fully judge something that I've never even seen in person, let alone actually driven. Sure, I can pick and choose clips that fit the argument I'm trying to make, but can I really condemn something I've never even stepped foot inside? No. But then I found out there's an app you can use to rent other people's cars for a day, so I spent $700 to pretend I own a Cybertruck.
Love that sound.
This is my nightmare. Everything on this screen, nothing's here. I don't like how many buttons I have to press to like turn the AC off. For a truck as big as this is, I don't love how sensitive everything is. The steering wheel, you barely have to turn it. You don't need to brake. I instinctively, when I'm slowing down, I want to take my foot off the accelerator and brake, but it brakes when you let go of the accelerator, so it's like really jerky. I guess I would get used to that if I drove it more often, but so far it's just like, I feel like I'm really drawing a lot of attention to myself. Going to a Costco parking lot, probably a bad idea. Everyone is turning and looking.
When I drive, I do not want to be perceived or looked at.
That guy right there is stopping to look at us right now.
Another Tesla is looking at us.
He's like, ah, my big brother.
When we got inside Costco, though, something weird happened. People stopped looking at me. I had to get out of there as soon as possible.
Look at all these normies. Only I'm in the Cybertruck. Okay. So many steps to open the mirror.
They have something called karaoke?
Look at me, took me, shook me, feeling me, singing from heart.
Like a lot of reviewers said, you cannot use this rear view mirror. It is just complete darkness in there. It is very smooth to drive. It doesn't feel like you're driving a giant truck, but I kind of wish it did. If you forget that your car weighs 7,000 pounds and you're driving it like it doesn't, like I just feel like it's way too easy to accelerate as fast as you can and slice someone in half, which I'd rather not do.
It was a beautiful spring day outside, so the next thing on my agenda was a romantic picnic in the park with my lovely wife.
What's wrong? You hardly touched your cereal. We don't want Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I got a banana instead.
I've driven a little bit now. I'm pretty sure every time I've parked and gotten out so far, I've left the car on because I don't know how to turn it off. There's not like a button or anything, but I finally figured out, it's very intuitive. You hit this, and then was it safety, right? And then you scroll all the way down, and you want to scroll past Joe mode. Don't put it on Joe mode. Then you just hit power off, and then that's it. And that's how you turn off the Cybertruck.
Getting the truck to fit into my garage was a lot closer of a call than I expected it to be. If I did own this car, this would be quite the fun little adventure to get to go on every single day.
And that's how you park a Tesla Cybertruck in your garage.
Despite all my issues with the truck, the more I drove it around the city and felt the enamored stares from mesmerized bystanders, I was reminded of what the guy I rented it from told me. You'll feel like a celebrity. And god damn it, he was right. I've never felt more popular. What, is that freaking Brad Pitt over there? Nope. Just little old me driving the best truck in the world.
Please, no pictures. I'm a regular person just like you.
I like the way this car makes me feel.
I don't care how much it costs. If it's not solid gold, I don't want it.
Hey, can I talk to you for a sec?
Sure, but make it quick.
Ever since you've been driving that car, you've been acting kind of weird.
How exactly do you mean?
You're like a completely different person now.
Oh, I see. You're jealous.
What?
You're jealous because I own the world's most awesome car.
You don't own the car. You're renting it for one day.
Oh, tell me how I knew you'd bring that up.
Because it's true, Drew.
I'm sorry, I can't deal with this right now. I need to go clear my head. I'm gonna take a nice scenic drive dangerously close to the edge of a cliff. We interrupt this slow motion car montage with some breaking news. Somehow the Cybertruck just got even dumber. Tesla has officially recalled all 3,800 of the vehicles due to a problem with the accelerator pedal. Turns out the pedal has a cheap plastic cover over it that's been fastened on so poorly, it's sliding off, getting lodged under the piece in front of it, and causing drivers to go as fast as this stupid car can go.
It held the accelerator down 100%, Full throttle?
This is a real thing that's actually happening. We here at Channel 300 News urge you, if your husband is about to drive one of these death traps near or around a cliff, you must go stop him. His life could be in danger.
Honey, I just saw on the news.
Who's a big, strong truck? That's right, you are.
I had to give the truck back last night. It was one of the hardest moments of my life. Technically, I still had a few hours left on the rental, but Amanda said she felt weird or something. I don't know, it's all a blur. Final thoughts on the truck. I think it should cost $1 million, and I wish it had 2 accelerator pedals and no brakes so I could drive twice as fast and never have to stop. Please subscribe.
Hey guy. Every day I get pulled deeper into a social media anger vortex that is surely knocking years off my life, and I'm almost positive my inability to sit alone with my thoughts for more than 5 seconds at a time without pulling out my phone and submitting to an endless scroll is making me dumber, sadder, and more anxious. But the thing is, if I didn't do all that, then I never would have found this guy.
At a restaurant, while waiting for your food to arrive, your fingers can have a dance party on the table.
His name is Nathan Baylett, and he's the best. He's slowly been taking over Instagram the past couple of months with his awesome ideas, and they're all so brilliant. But what really sets him apart is the time he gives you to soak it in.
An upside down glass can become a little plate.
That's what it looks like up close.
I think there should be an award for the weirdest song of the year. And they could call it the Grammy-O-Weird. Have a great day. A thumb is different than the rest of the fingers.
These aren't just silly thoughts that you can gloss over in a couple of seconds. He's asking the questions that, quite frankly, no one else in this country has the guts to.
When fish swim, where are they going? Cupboards. Wait, what is it? Oh, cupboards are shelves. Cupboards are just shelves.
That's what I'm saying. Every time I'm having a bad day and I go to Nathan's account and just stare into those eyes that have never once blinked, my stress just melts away.
I don't know. Movies. Movies.
I will say though, sometimes it's not all just fun and games with him. There have been instances where I've been a little worried. You all right, buddy? Okay. Just making sure.
Let's say you're in the future and you have to get on a spaceship to travel to Mars, and you can only take one movie with you. What movie would you take to Mars?
Like, I'm not really sure what he's laughing about in that one. He didn't say a joke. He just asked a pretty normal question. Oh, wait, he's coming. Hi, Nathan. We love your videos.
Nothing to see here. Keep scrolling.
Okay.
I would never say to a guest, please make yourself at home. I don't want people sitting on my couch in their underwear.
Out of all his videos, there's really only one that I'm a little bit iffy on.
If you could be in a horse costume with a celebrity, which celebrity And would you be the front or the back?
Yeah, I would have maybe kept that one in the draft. If you could be nose deep in a celebrity's ass, whose would it be? And would you want it to smell good or bad?
Sometimes I wonder, if we had 3 arms, how would that change lovemaking?
Damn, this guy's actually kind of a freak.
My friend is a scientist. He studies condom mechanics or something.
That's a great joke. I wonder what the comments say. That's kind of weird. What about this one?
Come on, everybody. Let's go get those hobbits. Oh, pies. What kind of pies do you have? Oh, well, I've got blueberry.
3 years? How old do they think I am?
I'd like a pumpkin spice latte, please.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Is that what people think I'm like? Am I just a younger Nathan Baylett? I don't understand. My videos are nothing like his.
Why do they call it a freeway if you have to pay a toll to drive on it?
What the hell?
Anything can be shoes if you put it on your feet.
I don't remember making these. Is this my entire YouTube channel?
Now I know what you're thinking, Drew, these TikToks are all so funny and awesome, and thank you for sharing this with me, you've made my day, but you're making a whole video about this? No. I'm making part of a video about this. The rest of this video is about the book that he wrote. You heard that right. Nathan Baylett, Instagram extraordinaire and staring contest champion of the world, is also the author of a rom-com novel. And I figured if this guy is me in a few years, then this is a rare opportunity to get a glimpse into my own future. I need to read this book, cover to cover, twice. And after several weeks of research, I'm very excited to report that this is the horniest book I've read since Jake Paul's autobiography.
I'm not looking for a guy to hang, Chris said. Now I just want to bang. Yeah, Chris cheered as she slipped into her tan ankle boots, ready to jump back into the single scene vagina first. The happiness of my penis is riding on tonight working out with Vanessa. Holy tushy twerks. Holy fuckadoodles. You'll take her home in an hour so mama can get some dick.
Passion or Pancakes is possibly the most complicated book I've ever read, because despite the fact that the entire story takes place in one night, there are approximately 4,000 characters. If there were any more names in this book, he would have had to start inventing new ones. There's even a character whose body parts have their own names, i.e. Stacy the Stomach. But I must have spaced out the first time I read that because I got to a conversation between two people named Chris and Bryn, and out of nowhere it said Stacy growled, and I'm like, who the fuck is Stacy? And why is she so mad? It is almost impossible to keep track of everyone mentioned in this book, but I think I may have come up with a way to help. So the book is about Chris, girl, and Mark, boy, on the fateful night that they meet. Mark is trying to get over his ex, Jill, who left him for Jack, and Chris is trying to get over her ex, David, who left her for Lisa. So she goes out on the town with her best friend, Bryn, while Mark does the same with his best friend, Chet. Hey, can you put your phone down? This is important. After a couple hours, Chris and Bryn meet a girl named Callie, who's described as an insane person, even though she talks in the exact same way as every other character. They eventually meet up with Vanessa, who spends the entire night getting on everybody's nerves because she won't stop filming them. Meanwhile, Mark and Chet meet up with a guy named Skip, who I thought for sure would end up being the love interest of either Callie or Vanessa, but he ends up meeting a girl named Lola at one of the bars they go to on their way to Roger's friend's apartment party. His name is Anton, and he's dating Debbie. Before any of that though, Mark and Chet meet up with their friends Charles and Vicky, but they leave after 2 pages to go have sex. So then Mark and Chet go to a bar to get drinks from Bonnie the bartender, whose name is spelled 2 different ways. There they meet Dina, Lorna, and Anna, who may sound like a band of rambunctious chipmunks, but are actually 3 human women. Things don't work out with any of them though, and they also don't work out with the girl named Melanie because she has a boyfriend. Before leaving the bar, they give their business cards to Miranda and Panda, 2 different people, but we never hear from either of them ever again. Meanwhile, Chris and Bryn share a 2-page interaction of their own with their friends Madeline and Lamar, before chatting it up with Barry the bartender, who they're both attracted to, but he's gay, I think? I don't know. Everybody everybody in this book flirts with service workers, but they never pursue them romantically. Instead, they talk to Ron and Ian, who get into a fist fight with each other, forcing them to leave the bar. Luckily, they have somewhere to go because Chris got a text from her friend Holly, who's hanging out with Bob and Steve. Eventually, Vanessa's sister Jane joins the group, along with Sarah and the aforementioned Holly, who's dating Colin, even though nobody likes Colin. The problem with Colin is that he doesn't appreciate Holly as much as he should, but it turns out they actually broke up yesterday and just didn't tell anyone because they didn't want to spoil the mood. The irony, of course, being that news of their breakup would have only improved the mood because Colin sucks. Also, Dan is here. No one knows who Dan is, so I don't know what he's doing in the group. So that's kind of the main core of the group. But then, for seemingly no reason other than to just make things more complicated for us, Vanessa gets a text from her friend Ruby, who tells her about Hannah, Billy, Chloe, Nick, Layla, and Sarah. Now this is of course a different Sarah than the one we already met, because this Sarah has an H in her name. In fact, someone, and I truly mean someone because he does not specify who says this in a scene that has 97 people in it, says that they know 7 Sarahs. So that makes 5 additional Sarahs just hanging out in the Nathan Bailett Marina rom-com universe. Then Vanessa, who's clearly very popular, gets a text from Chantel, who updates her about Oscar, Isaac, Leo, Abby, Ezra, and Ellis, and then a text from Shane, who tells her about Camille, Blaine, Tallulah, Blair, Emma, and Blake. Now, if you're worried about having to remember all these names, don't be, because they never get brought up again. Finally, the group makes it to Roger's friend Anton's apartment building for his apartment party, but they never make it past the lobby of the apartment because Roger does something to get everyone mad, so Bryn throws a cocktail in his face, and then the police show up, and then they all go get pancakes, which you may remember from the title. All right, well, that's all of the characters in Passion or Pancakes, but you're probably wondering who ends up with who. And I'm so glad you asked. Mark ends up with Chris, and Skip ends up with Vanessa, and Holly ends up with Chet. Ooh, that's a surprise. And then finally, Bookworm Brenda ends up with Peter the Reader. A perfect match. Except Peter has a girlfriend, so he just fucks off and she ends up all alone. Well, there you have it. I know it may look like a lot to remember, but if you ever find yourself reading Passion or Pancakes, which I highly recommend, it's a great book, great gift. Mother's Day is coming up in a couple months. I know what I'll be getting my mom. I'm going to be getting her 12 copies. But if you ever find yourself reading the book and you're at all confused, feel free to open up this video and refer back to this simple chart. You're welcome. I think the only thing this story is missing is a few more downs to go with all the ups. Everything kind of just works out for everyone. There's a part where they all go to karaoke and they're a little nervous to sing, but then they sing so well that a recording of it goes viral. That's awesome. I also like that Mark's character is written to be the most perfect human man ever constructed. He is tall, he's hot, he's smart, he's funny, he's rich, he has big feet, and every woman wants to fuck him. But Mark doesn't want to fuck, he wants to love. He wants passion, not pancakes. Or maybe the other way around, I can't remember which is which. Really, the only conflict in the story is that Chris just wants to rip his clothes off and hook up with him on the spot, but Mark wants to get to know her first.
Chris paused and looked over his poundable chest, up to his thick, grippable hair, kissable, chiseled chin, and his starry eyes looking at her so nicely that she felt the warmest whoosh tinkle up thoughts of exactly how she'd climb him. So I'd have to have a relationship with you to climb your mountain and sit on your peak? Mark chuckled. I'm afraid so.
Eventually, he wins this battle. They decide to take it slow because they're a perfect match and they don't want to mess this up. This all culminates in what I think is, and I know this is going to sound hyperbolic, the single most beautiful paragraph in the history of the written word. And their fun rhythm moved them close, then apart, then back together, and over here, and over there, rockin' and swaying, to a twirl, to a deep, delicious dip, and so erotically slow back up into his strong, gentle arms for a sexy sway with a sultry stare, then starry-eyed stare, then a sweet, simple, and super sincere stare as they slowed and slowed and slowed to a sway, together, a soft, slow, fun sway, just the two of them, on the rooftop, above the world, up in heaven, surrounded by city lights and flowers and stars and the moon and a beautiful bright green baseball field below, and everything felt wonderful, and he felt wonderful, and she felt wonderful being with him and all of this wonderful, and wow, their wonderful was a wonderful, more wonderful than drunk dancing with some random dude and pulling him home for a half hour of woo-hoo. That was all one sentence. Really, these two people could not have asked for a better night out. Not only do they find their soulmate after looking for a few hours, but they manage to convert each of their best friends into the person they've wanted them to be their entire lives. So Chet is like a Barney Stinson type, right? He's constantly running into women he's slept with. He's telling Mark, don't worry about the future. Tonight, we're just gonna fucking till our fall off.
It's about love. It's about sex, Chet said. The lyrics are saying monogamy. The beat is saying sex.
That is until the end, where he's like, actually, I've changed my ways. I like Holly, and I'm a relationship guy now. Also, Bryn breaks the sad news pretty early on to Chris that she's planning on moving to Los Angeles to pursue the next chapter of her life. But at the end of the book, she says, you know what? Never mind. Screw my career, screw all of my plans. I'm staying here with my family. And that's so sweet, really, but I'm doing the math over here. Like, you guys have been to at least 12 bars tonight. There's no way you're in any cognitive state to be making these kinds of life-altering decisions right now. But that's the thing. Despite the dilemma it poses in its title, Passion or Pancakes isn't about having to make difficult decisions. It's about everything working out perfectly for a group of hot drunk people. And honestly, that's the kind of story this world needs more of. So Nathan, thank you. And I'm sorry I had a full-blown existential crisis earlier when I saw 3 comments comparing us. I thought about it a lot, and I'm honored to be associated with someone who spreads as much joy as you do. In fact, I think I have a video to make.
Fingers are kind of like the toes of your hands. Over the past decade, Vin Diesel has become an international movie superstar, thanks in large part to his signature role as big bald strongman in fast car movies. Oh, hold on, actually he's the other one? Yeah, there we go. Using his superhuman physique and almost supernatural deep voice, Vin Diesel has carved out quite a niche for himself in Hollywood that doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. But while Vin has built a reputation as being a bit of a badass on screen, off screen things start to get weird. Because when he doesn't have a script to fall back on and has to form words and, God forbid, sentences with his tiny little meatball brain, things start to go south pretty quickly in the most fascinating way.
When did this turn into I love you?
But to understand who he is now, we must start at the beginning. Vin Diesel was born in 1932 inside of a burning building. His father, a camel, worked in the famine industry, which was thriving at the time. You know, maybe I don't need to do a video essay for everything. Brush tool and perfect. Hey guy, welcome back to the first and only channel on YouTube where, as you can probably tell, I moved. And although I'll always cherish the memories I have from inside that cheap-ass apartment that was basically just one medium-sized room infested with cockroaches, I'm excited to move on to this new, more expensive chapter in my life. The best thing about living in a house as opposed to the second floor of a 3-story apartment is I no longer have to deal with upstairs neighbors, which in my case happen to be 6 of the loudest human beings in the world. That's right, I said 6. They also lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, so try and figure that one out because I never did. But that's all water under the bridge, I suppose, because things are already starting to look up for old Drew. In fact, why don't I give you guys a quick tour of the place? You already know your boy's out here starting his house tour in the bathroom. But the fun doesn't end there, guys, because we also got another bathroom. Finally, Amanda and I can pee at the same time without making as big of a mess. We've also got a garage, which is so far proving to be the perfect place to hold all of my tools. And best of all, I no longer have to film videos in my living room because for the first time in my adult life, I have my own office. Ah, shit, probably should have exited out of that before we started filming. That was embarrassing.
Anyway, guys, today we're going to be talking about Vin Diesel. I have to admit, I've never actually seen any of the Fast and Furious movies, but it seems like Vin Diesel is perfect at playing whatever character it is he's playing in those movies. But they're definitely not targeted at me. I've never really been much of a car guy. It's just not in my DNA. In fact, my favorite thing about my car is the custom bumper stickers I made and put on my car. I have a thread about that on Twitter if you're a fan of self-promotion. But the point is, I've never actually seen any of the Fast and Furious movies or Triple X or Chronicles of Riddick or The Last Witch Hunter for that matter. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure the only Vin Diesel movie I've seen is The Pacifier, the 2005 Disney classic where he plays like a Navy SEAL who has to babysit a bunch of kids as part of a recon mission. Predictably, things get off to a bit of a rocky start, but by the end, he's teaching them a thing or two about self-defense. The kids teach him about the power of family. It's a great movie. I've seen it like 10 times. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I haven't seen a lot of Vin Diesel movies. Like I said in the beginning though, this video isn't about his acting, which is perfectly fine. It's about what happens when he doesn't have a script. The most popular example of Vin Diesel cringe was on this interview from a couple years ago with a Brazilian reporter, and I'll only touch on this briefly because a lot of you probably already saw this. This was on the H3 podcast, but it's still worth talking about. So the first few minutes of this interview are pretty normal. He's just talking about the film he's in and a little bit of a history about his career, and then he starts to bore himself, and he instead turns his attention to the interviewer and just bombards her with compliments.
But Tom Hanks was the first one, and God, you're so beautiful. God, she's so beautiful, man. Am I right or wrong? Look at her. How am I supposed to do this interview? Look at this woman.
Tell me your story.
She's so beautiful. Coño, man. Talk to me, baby. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's go have lunch. My God, I love her. Look how beautiful she is.
Thank you.
God, wow. Man.
So, Tom Hanks?
Wow.
He just keeps going at it, and she does her best to get the interview back on track. But then a few minutes later, I guess his brain just can't handle this much conversation, so he just goes back to like, you are beautiful, let's go home and fuck.
I love her. Man, she's so fucking sexy. I can't do this interview. Am I the only one that's saying it? Look at her. She's so fucking beautiful. It's like you can't even do an interview with her because you're just like, da 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 da.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch. But I guess that would be the definition of cringe, so we're off to a good start.
When did this turn into Beautiful World?
So that was a big deal a couple of years ago, rightfully so. It's very weird, but it doesn't even come close to ending there. There's so much more. So let's dive a little bit deeper, but to do so, we need to head over to Facebook. Vin Diesel is the king of Facebook. If you had to guess how many people currently like Vin Diesel's page on Facebook, his fan page, how many do you think? 10 million? 50 million? Not even close. 100 million people like the Vin Diesel fan page on Facebook. Vin Diesel and Facebook are a match made in heaven, and the main reason for that is Facebook live streams.
I'm doing a live, guys, so just have a seat and this is gonna be fun.
I've never seen someone use so many words to say so little. Watch the first 30 seconds of this one and see how much he actually says.
I'm giving you big hugs in a second. I'm doing a live. I'm doing a live. I'll give big hugs in a second. I'm doing a live.
No, he's not.
I am doing a live. I'm doing a live. And
Oh my God.
the reason why I'm doing a live is because...
Oh, wait, I think I missed it. What is he doing?
Doing a live.
Oh, he's doing a live. Okay. After spending about 2 minutes saying that he's doing a live and eventually saying he's doing a live because he's thankful to Comcast.
Comcast has come in and done wonders.
He says that, it's Saturday night and while everyone's having fun, as they should, the cast of Fast and Furious is here brainstorming ideas.
We try to imagine what would excite you in the future, what storylines you would like to see continued, and we try to find the truth in our mythology, and we try to maintain the integrity that is what the Fast and Furious saga has become.
Chew on that for a while.
Just to give you an idea of the type of people that will come and brainstorm with me.
He's always blowing up the spot live.
You get the feeling that Michelle Rodriguez here and everyone else in the room was like, oh, not again. He's not doing another one of these things, is he? He's gonna incorporate us in it, and he's not gonna say anything, and we're just gonna have to sit there and smile for several minutes.
You're watching a Facebook Live right now.
That's right, Ben. That's what we're doing.
I guess what this visual shows you is dedication and a commitment to integrity.
Commitment to integrity.
So, this is alive.
Oh, it's alive. I wasn't sure. I don't know about you guys, but it's hard to even focus on what he's saying because all I can see is that giant-ass thing in his teeth. But you ready for this? You want to see something, guys? Just pay close attention to where it is. And then watch this next clip.
Come on, of course they can. Para mi gente, tú sabes, impeccable. Stop it. Listen.
It moved. I've never seen that in my life. This is comedy right here, guys. I don't want to hear anybody else's idea of what comedy is because it's this. We found it. Okay, here's another live stream where he was at the Avengers Infinity War premiere and he's talking to the camera. He's addressing, the live Facebook audience, and then he goes to like another red carpet interview, and like mid-sentence, in the middle of his own sentence, completely forgets that he's live streaming and just casually puts his phone in his pocket.
Look at that action.
Oh my, okay.
Look at that action. All right, let me get on this. Guys, you see this? It's the Groot coming out on me. I came to the premiere, and Groot just...
And it just continues to sit in there for the next 10 minutes before he finally pulls it out and realizes what he did.
Yeah, no, let him flow. Oh my God. Yo, you guys have been in my pocket the whole time.
I mean, he obviously handled it well, but God, that's hilarious. This one actually starts off pretty normal, but that only lasts about 90 seconds.
Chinese food.
You see, Vin is a big fan of milestones. He always celebrates a milestone with a live stream, and he just hit a big one, 50 million. But unfortunately, thanks to some bad timing, he is traveling when he hits it. He's on a plane in the middle of his big day. Not to worry, though, he has a plan to make up for it. He goes ahead and plays this very special video that he seems to have filmed and edited himself as a bit of a special treat for the fans. I mean, don't get me wrong, his silhouette looks very sexy, but God, did he not listen to that audio beforehand? So that goes on for about 5 minutes, and then he cuts back to himself and says this. He says nothing. He doesn't say anything.
That was pretty cool.
Here's another live stream of his that was apparently right before he was going on Jimmy Kimmel. Nothing too crazy to see here, except 60% of it is upside down. There is one pretty weird interaction here, though, when he's talking to these football players backstage. And he refers to himself as Daddy.
They're the real thing.
Show. We warmed them up for you.
They warmed him up for me. They warmed him up for Daddy. Thank you, guys.
And after making sure to establish himself as the biggest alpha male in the room, he goes out and nails that interview.
Purple.
Purple? Maybe that's what it is.
Purple.
I'll admit that it might be a little unfair of me to judge him too harshly based on live streams. A lot of times in live streams, I've done Twitch a few times, you say some weird things. It's natural. I don't have nipples on my ankles, so I don't want to judge him too harshly for that. But what we can do is look through some of his Facebook posts. Now, these are, of course, things that he had the idea to post, thought about it, decided, yes, I will post that, and then he posted it. So a lot of extra steps there, a lot of room for potentially being like, oh, maybe I won't do that, but he went ahead and decided anyway. So these are prime Vin Diesel posts. Let's check them out. Here's a fan edit from 2015 where he is being sensually embraced by an elephant. It's not so much the fact that this picture exists, but the fact that he chose to put it on his page. Thank you, world, for making the new XXX, The Return of Xander Cage, the #1 movie in the world, is the caption to this picture. I'm not sure I see the correlation. To accomplish great things, we must dream as well as act. Great quote Great picture. What is with him and elephants? I don't understand. He's got some really good self-quotes that he's used as cover photos, like this one. Well, love motivates me in everything I do. Vin Diesel. That's a perfectly good quote, but why even include the well? It's like he had to think about it for a second. Well, love motivates me in everything I do. Protect our sacred places. And then it's a picture of him standing in front of Stonehenge. Guys, you've gotta protect Stonehenge. Have you seen those rocks? All stacked up on top of each other, all funny like? We gotta protect them. Don't mind me just casually skipping past 3 consecutive photos that heavily feature elephants, including this one where I suppose shirtless Vin Diesel is protecting New York from a giant elephant? I don't understand. And then finally we have this one from 2012 captioned Angels. And then it's, well, I don't even know what to say about this. So Vin Diesel seems like a pretty wacky guy, but it doesn't stop at internet videos or funny memes or live streams. There's one more thing I need to show you guys, and I'm really excited about this. I was gonna make a whole video about this a few months ago, but then I just put it on the shelf for a while, and then I realized while making this one that this would make for the perfect ending. And no, this isn't entirely about Vin Diesel, I just wanna go ahead and preface that now, but he does have a pretty large role in this, and I would be remiss if I went through this whole video without even mentioning it. And the thing I'm talking about, of course, is the Fast and Furious ride at Universal Studios. Fast and Furious Supercharged is the newest attraction at Universal Studios Orlando, and also, coincidentally, the worst ride I have ever been on in my life. When my soon-to-be wife Amanda, who used to work at Universal, first took me on this ride a few months ago, she prefaced it by saying that the line is better than the ride. I'm pretty sure she meant this as a positive, but after being underwhelmed by the fact that the line is essentially just a very long garage, I started to get a bad feeling about what was in store for me. The first red flag that pops up is the sheer plot of the ride. I imagine between all 75 of the Fast and Furious movies, they could have found one exciting storyline to be the centerpiece of this ride, but instead, here's the plot. You and the rest of the people on board are on a party bus, and you're on your way to a party. But right before you get on the ride, you find out that the FBI is here to raid the place. They never say why or what the FBI is trying to find. I guess it's us? They're trying to crack down on us having fun? I don't know, but like, that's the plot of this ride? Why not just, I don't know, do a race? And then we could just drive fast. That would be fun. I'd want to ride that. Instead, you spend the entire 6 minutes sitting on a slow-moving bus watching the ride. This isn't ideal for a theme park attraction, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if the thing you spent the whole ride watching wasn't a total cringe fest.
You're under arrest right now!
I've seen bad acting at theme parks before, but good God, I thought these guys were professionals.
We don't work for nobody.
Oh yeah, there he is. There's my guy.
Try to move that vehicle.
He seems really happy to be a part of this. Also, what the hell is this animation? Did they 3D animate each character using PlayStation 2 graphics? They couldn't have just green screened this shit and spent more than, I don't know, 4 days on it? This is embarrassing, and I'm not the only one who feels this way. The top comment on this POV YouTube video I'm borrowing some extra footage from is this. The camera doesn't do it justice. It's much worse in person. This ride does its best to tarnish the great legacy that Universal Studios has always had in my eyes. Its shittiness to me is highlighted by the fact that it's right next to the Mummy ride, which has been around forever and is the most fun indoor roller coaster I've ever been on. I've gone on this ride probably 100 times, and it's still fun.
I would have enjoyed this interview a lot more if I had gotten my cup of coffee!
You ride the Fast and Furious ride once, and it makes you want to throw away your annual pass. I don't know how much they care though, because they could have put literally anything here and it would still do its job of showcasing a few cool cars and the ridiculously overpriced merch, including this entire section of signed paraphernalia by Michelle Rodriguez. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. This video is about Vin Diesel, and as bad as this ride is, it does do a good job of saving the best for last. You see, I was pretty disappointed coming out of the ride until I spotted my hero, my knight in shining armor, Vin. It's crazy he has the time to stand perfectly still all day long considering all of his movies that are coming up, but I'm so glad he does. Best day ever. was fun. I gotta do that again sometime. So, what was your favorite part of the video? Yeah, that was pretty funny. That's gonna do it for today, guy. As always, if this video gets 1 billion likes, I will legally marry Joey Salads, whether he wants me to or not. Remember to comment a very specific reference to this video so you can prove to me that you actually watched it, and hit that subscribe button as fast and as furiously as humanly possible. Don't forget to tune in next week to see me get stuck in a tree. Good night, everyone. Hey guy, it's that time of year again where I watch 31 different Christmas movies until I finally find one that's good enough to talk about in a YouTube video, but then realize I took too long and I don't even upload it in time for Christmas. Happy holidays. I think part of the reason it took me so long this year is because there's too many places to watch them. Netflix, Peacock, Hallmark Movies Now. Okay, but what do you do if you're trying to get in the Christmas spirit, but you don't want to waste any money on another subscription service? Pirate one? Partake in theft? No thanks, that's illegal. The good news is you don't have to pay to watch Christmas movies as long as you lower your expectations as far as humanly possible, because some of the absolute worst of them are for free to watch on this very website. Now you have to stay vigilant because sometimes the titles will fool you. I got so excited when I saw the Polar Express full movie that I stopped reading right there and never saw the word game. Made for a slightly different, although not necessarily worse viewing experience.
My ticket, it's gone! I lost my ticket!
You also have to be careful of something even more nefarious, liars. Christmas at the Plaza, full Best Hallmark Romantic Movies 2022. New Hallmark Romance Movie 2022. Perfect, that sounds like an enjoyable, high-quality movie experience. Oh God. This is hurting my ears. Okay, so to avoid getting their video taken down for copyrighted music, they had the option to mute the song, or they could do what they did, which was play another song over it. Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off.
The club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bomb.
It's not. It's not paying off.
I'm hurting, baby.
This is so fucking funny to me. The audio is all out of sync. They have to zoom in and rotate the shot every 5 seconds, and they're playing weird covers of Ed Sheeran songs over the Christmas music. At a certain point, if you have to make a movie this unwatchable just to get around community guidelines, it's kind of not worth it anymore. One of my favorite things about finding these movies on YouTube is getting to read all the comments, because people are so easily impressed. As long as the movie doesn't look and sound like this, they will treat it as if it represents the pinnacle of filmmaking. Take Deck the Heart, for example. This was uploaded just a couple months ago. It already has 1 million views. People love this movie. On YouTube. On IMDb, different story, but on YouTube, it's great upload, no zooming problems, no sound problems, shit, instant classic. Their standards are so low that as long as the movie isn't sitting at a 70-degree angle in the corner of the screen, we might as well contact the Oscar. It's like the movie equivalent of saying, dude, you gotta try the new restaurant down the street. I went there last night and I almost didn't even throw up. Almost. I think the thing that makes Deck the Heart so fun to watch for me is how the low budget completely ruins the entire conceit of the movie. So it's about this guy whose grandpa dies, R.I.P. Grandpa, this one's for you, and he inherits his lake house with one condition. He has to host Christmas for the whole family there, just like Grandpa used to.
I assume your mom explained the stipulation of your inheritance, right?
To host Christmas?
Yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this dumb idiot doesn't know the first thing about hosting a Christmas. He's too busy working his vague business job, answering phone calls, and doing emails, even during the holidays. So he hires this woman named Mary to plan the party, decorate the house, and make enough food for like 15 people. Now, I want to play a little game with you called How Much Money Do You Think He's Going to Pay Her to Do This? I want you to stop and think about the scope of the job that I just described, and then come up with a number in your head of what you think this kind of job is worth. Go ahead and write it down in the comments if you want to lock in your answer. You got it? All right, let's find out how much he pays her.
Does 12 work for you?
12 instead of 10? Sure.
No. $12,000.
$12,000.
$12,000?
He pays her $12,000 to hang up a few ribbons and cook a meal. And you might be thinking, okay, well, some of that is budgeting in the cost of supplies. No. He gives her his credit card. Her take home is 12 grand. Can I do next year's party? I would settle for half that. See, but going back to what I was saying earlier, the problem with this being the plot of the movie is that she ends up spending the entire length of it, which is about 3 weeks of real time, decorating the house. She's working sunset to sunrise. She's working weekends. She's pouring her blood, sweat, and tears into this holiday decor. So by the end of the movie, you're kind of expecting something spectacular, right? Something that would warrant her paycheck and the amount of time invested. Or, you know, at the very least, that she would have finished decorating the kitchen cabinets instead of stopping halfway through.
The house looks marvelous.
Hey, you know we can see it too, right? She clearly just hung up one thing from Hobby Lobby and called it a day.
But you're really good at what you do, Mary.
It's not really work to me.
Well, that's probably because you're not actually doing that much. I feel like this movie is gaslighting me. Why is everyone so impressed by tinsel? Actually, in an attempt to solve the age-old problem of viewers having eyeballs, the director does something really fun where they constantly choose not to show us stuff. Big reveal at the end of the movie, balcony lights, she's been working on these all month, and oh, it's out of frame. Well, at least we get to see everyone's reaction to it. They also talk about the game room incessantly.
Well, I have some work to do, so I'll be in the game room. And you know what? It might be easier if you just come in through the game room. Enter through the game room downstairs.
Oh, you have a game room?
Yes.
They mention it so much, I'm surprised it's not listed as a credited character. And yet, I could not tell you what 75% of this room looks like.
Welcome to the game room.
Cozy. I like it.
Some of my best family memories were made here.
Can we see it?
Impressive.
This room has an endless supply of snacks during the holidays. People get lost down here for hours.
Sounds really fun. Can we see it?
No, not at all.
What's that thing they teach you in film school? Why show something when you can simply describe it? Speaking of describing, I love when he gives her a tour of the house and overly explains what every room does.
This is the kitchen and dining room.
Obviously.
Linen closet.
Obviously.
This is the foyer. It's the main entrance to the house. Everybody comes and goes through here.
Obviously.
Oh, so people walk through the door to get inside. Gotcha. What? But how do they get back out? Believe it or not, same door. No way, it does both? Also, is anyone gonna explain to me why he had to change his pants halfway through the tour? Be honest. Did you piss yourself? Overall, this is a boring ass movie, but I do want to point out some of my personal highlights. During what's supposed to be an emotional moment early on, this is a real sound effect that is actually in the movie.
My parents never really got into birthdays or the holidays or anything, so I was always left up to my own devices for them. That's so sad.
Promise me when I'm gone, you'll take care of my family.
It's fine. It's fine, really.
You already had an audience there. You could have just had them go, oh. I like the scene where Chris tries one of the meals Mary is proposing to make for Christmas.
I can see it in your eyes. You're disappointed in something.
Yeah, to be fair, if I paid someone $12,000 and they made me chicken and broccoli, I'd be pretty disappointed too. I like when he picks up her parents at the airport and it looks like they're outside of a prison. Every transition shot in this movie is stock footage and none of it goes together. This sequence right here is 3 different cities during 3 different seasons. All right, and then we're gonna use an establishing shot of Bluegrass Grill in Chattanooga before heading inside a coffee shop called Sweetwater's. One of the most positive comments I'm seeing a lot under this video is how much chemistry the actors have, which is funny because they don't. Mary, look, I'm wearing a glove.
What are you doing?
Setting lights up on the roof?
Why?
Because it's my job.
Wow. What a script, huh? So the main guy, Chris, in this movie is played by someone named Joe Kurak, and he is my new favorite actor. He is so funny. He's like if someone 3D printed a human being.
No, please don't tell anyone, please.
What happened?
He's like if John Hamm and a dog had a baby.
I appreciate dinner and dessert, especially dessert. He even made a gingerbread house one year.
He sort of walks around like he just learned how to a few days ago. Every line is delivered like he's in an entirely different movie than everyone else.
Thaddeus is my cat.
Your cat? I quit. I know.
Joe Kurak is my hero, and at this point, I had to find more movies with him in it. Now, in my search for more Joe, I stumbled across a YouTube channel called Encourage TV, and I gotta say, this is one of the weirdest channels on this entire website. There are days where they upload multiple full-length movies. I'm talking feature-length films with actors and production teams posted on YouTube for free that will end up with like 600 views. Where are they getting the money to make all of these? It makes no sense. Now, to be fair, some of these are a little misleading. They have a whole series of wiki films, which is where an AI voice spends 2 hours reading someone's Wikipedia page. So if you're trying to learn about New York in the least interesting way possible, I definitely recommend this video.
In fiscal year 2013-14, Wall Street security...
Ooh, The Bill Collector, a cheerful comedy with Danny Trejo. That sounds like just the kind of light and funny Christmas movie I'm in the mood for. Is neither cheerful nor comedic. We've got Renfro's White Christmas. This one is set in the 1930s, and I really love what they did to make this an authentic period piece. All of the microphones they use are fucking terrible. Huh? What? But as bizarre as 98% of their catalog is, every so often they'll upload a Christmas movie that will immediately get a shit ton of views. This time, it's Christmas at the Holly Hotel, starring, of course, our dear friend Joe. And say it with me, she has a job in New York City, but for Christmas she goes back to her small town where she falls in love with the guy she just met, so she quits her job and stays there forever. I've never seen anything like it! This time Joe is a cop named Officer Matthew.
Just Matthew.
Sorry, just Matthew. And in classic meet-cute fashion, he pulls her over for reckless driving. If you look even closer than that, you may see that I wasn't even moving at all. Write that down. My car was parked. Can't be speeding when your car's parked.
I'm Kathy, by the way.
I hate that she's making me side with the cop here, but like if she was going 28 and a 25 and he pulled her over, you know, that's pretty negligible. But she was going double the speed limit. It's the holidays. There are still laws in December. Christmas isn't the purge. Yeah, big deal. So maybe I killed a pedestrian. You're gonna put me in jail the day Santa's coming to town? For pretty much the entire movie, she will just not let this go. This guy only plays characters that have a weirdly close relationship with one of their grandparents.
I was in the dining room with him. He was one good-looking man.
Grandma.
He was 15 before I convinced him that there was no such thing.
Grandma.
How do you feel about that grandson of mine?
Grandma, please.
Fine. Yes. That's how you ask someone out on a date.
Good news, they're gonna go on a date. Bad news. Didn't me, dude? She hung up on her. It's gotta be the most unrealistic trope in all these Christmas movies, right? Is the friend who only ever has good things to say about the man the main character's interested in. Kathy, if you don't quit your job and marry this man tomorrow, I can't be your friend anymore, and then I'll die. Is that what you want for me? You know I only exist through the prism of your love life. Now, Kathy's the only one being smart about this. She's resisting the urge to drop everything in her life just because she met a handsome man. But her friend, her parents, even mischievous Grandma Williams will not take no for an answer. Driven by, for some reason, 2 different men. That's not the same guy from The Wide Shot.
It's a beautiful day.
Come on, it's a beautiful day. The sun's not out. We're freezing to death. Couldn't ask for better weather.
Maybe you should tell me what it would be like with you.
We're gonna see each other again.
Goodbye, Matthew. Wait, what are you doing tomorrow?
They are gonna see each other again.
I don't know.
She just can't resist this guy and his endless charm. I mean, can you blame her though? He's always saying normal person things.
You are such a scientist. You might be beautiful.
But of course, right when things are coming together for them, disaster strikes.
We've decided to offer you the job. Pack your bags and head to the airport.
My dream job? But it's Christmas. Now, that's actually a pretty shitty thing for the company to do. She made it very clear what her availability was during the interview, and already they're ignoring that and pressuring her to abandon her family plans and fly to New York on a holiday. She hasn't even started working for them yet, and already they're violating her boundaries, which doesn't bode well for their future employment relationship. However, it's not like she articulates anything like that. Everything in her life is now centered around the handsome police robot she met 3 days ago. I can't give up on that for my career.
And in New York, I just never felt like home no matter how long I lived there.
Of course not. You can't create a new life away from your hometown. If you move away from the city where your parents live, you will be miserable and you will regret it. This is also the part of the movie where Grandma Williams' true colors come out.
What is that?
This is the guy you uprooted your life for? Actually, I think this is the moment Joe decided to sabotage this movie, because every line delivery from this point forward is a masterclass in performance. The United States?
Matthew, Mr. President.
It's nice meeting you, Matthew.
I love you too.
They're saying I love you and they haven't even kissed yet? No. No!
Will you marry me?
He proposed? It's been 5 days!
Yes, I would love nothing more.
Not surprised she said yes. At this point, she's already given up everything else in her life. What if after all that, they finally kissed and were like, actually, that was kind of gross. Can I have that ring back? Fine, yeah, take it. I gotta get my job back. Look, I like love as much as the next guy. I also don't think your career has to be your #1 priority at all times. But that's 2 movies in a row where one of the main characters quits their job on a whim to be with someone they just met. Like, can we stop to think about what's gonna happen after the credits roll? You gonna pay the bills in kisses? Like, I think Joe's really gonna regret blowing 12 grand on one party when he runs out of money in 3 months. Like, I'm a sucker for a good romance story. I'm a regular guy.
I'm just a regular guy.
But it always drives me crazy when there's no practicality involved. Like, we're just gonna drop everything else in our lives and prioritize this brand new relationship. Of course you feel that way in the moment. Of course it seems like a good idea at first, but they don't know anything about each other. Anyway, I watched some other movies too, but they were all so bad. It's not even worth talking about. Santa's Boot Camp started off strong, but then it got really boring and I just had to skip to the end.
I have a gift for you.
Show you that bad kids can be nice.
I don't have feelings for Christy North.
Hope for Christmas, a Pastor Greg reboot. Not as good as the title makes it seem like it would be. Going into it, I was like, oh, this is the perfect movie. It's 40 minutes long. I love that. So efficient. Why go watch new Avatar, 3-hour movie, when I could stay home and watch this movie 5 times? But then I spent the whole runtime just being confused about what the hell was going on. Why is everyone in this town so obsessed with shopping sprees? What is happening to this boy? And why are there so many pivotal moments that have no sound? Here, let me fix it.
It's how you do it that defines it.
Now that's moving. Hey guy, welcome back to the inside of George Lopez. I'm your host, George Lopez. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. 2001 was a great year to be 8. The first Kids Bop was released, there was no global pandemic, and director Robert Rodriguez shocked the world when he released his movie Spy Kids. Up until that point, he was known pretty much exclusively for producing extremely violent crime movies. So when he came out with this colorful, family-friendly action movie about children saving the world from a bunch of fingers, I think people were a little surprised. Even more surprising though, it was a massive hit. Personally, I loved that movie when it came out. I loved that all the adults were dumb and the kids were smart and they got to use a bunch of cool gadgets that I wished were real. That was 100% my childhood fantasy, was to be a spy instead of the lame-ass dork I actually was. Anyway, after the success of the first one, it was time to turn Spy Kids into a franchise. 1 year later, Spy Kids 2 came out, and it was a pretty good sequel. Steve Buscemi's here now, so that's cool. Another year later, Spy Kids 3D came out, and that's when things started to go off the rails. In 2003, 3D was a super gimmicky and always underwhelming addition to movies that really just meant the tickets would be more expensive and the characters would lean towards the camera a lot. Whoa! So after 3 movies in 3 years, it was time for a new approach to the Spy Kids cinematic universe. And in 2005, Robert Rodriguez would strike gold with the release of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which truly might be the greatest bad movie ever made.
Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled!
Somehow, with 4 more years of technological advancements and a significantly higher budget, Robert Rodriguez managed to make a movie that looked worse than the first Spy Kids. I can only assume all of that extra money went solely to paying George Lopez, who plays a teacher, a villain, and a human computer all at once.
That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
The rest of the cast is pretty bad all around. The titular Lava Girl is played by Taylor Dooley, who you may know from this movie and only this movie. Future werewolf Taylor Lautner plays a brooding shark boy who may have a bad temper, but still has a few tricks up his sleeve.
It's working! Keep it up, Shark Boy!
Just relax, lay about, or my fist will put you out. Dream, 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 dream. Take your time, but beware, there's darkness in the air.
I think what really sets the tone for this movie is the quote they show right before the opening credits. Oh, interesting. Was that like Steve Jobs or Copernicus? No, Lava Girl said that. Remember? Remember when Lava Girl said that? I'm not gonna go too in depth here because plenty of people already have on this website, but I will say that every time you think the plot is starting to make sense, it takes an insane left turn you couldn't have possibly seen coming.
They're singing at a frequency I highly trainers find disturbing! Where's Lava Girl?
It's up to you now, Max.
And no matter what it is, it always looks terrible. I cannot stress enough to you that this is the ugliest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Some of the visuals are so hideous, it's actually disturbing. And on top of that, whenever one of the characters needs to move the story along, they do so by simply falling asleep.
Go to sleep.
So most of the time, they're either sleeping or screaming at each other.
How about a knuckle sandwich? Max is a good boy. He ruined my dream journal! Lava Girl, they're behind you!
And I think the director must have told Taylor Dooley at some point that if she stops smiling for even 1 second, she'll get fired.
Dream, dream.
Not much else to see here. Let's go ahead and just skip to the end.
Bye, Max! Tell him I love him!
Don't leave me!
I thought you wanted me to leave!
No, I don't. You're my best friend.
Holy shit. I can't believe people didn't like this.
I'm not going anywhere.
Considering that Shark Boy and Lava Girl is a terrible movie from 15 years ago that almost everybody hated, it was really only a matter of time until Netflix used their infinite supply of money to fund a sequel. And that's what they did. We Can Be Heroes is the name of this movie. It does not star Taylor Lautner, but it does have Yahya Gosselin, who you may recognize from being on the FBI's Most Wanted list. It's really disappointing that they let her act in this movie instead of just arresting her on the spot, but no one listens to me. I say this actress has not had the best luck throughout her career. She's only been in a handful of movies, and believe it or not, according to IMDb ratings, the best one is this movie. So I think we're in for a treat. Basically, We Can Be Heroes is Shark Boy and Lava Girl for the new generation.
Hit me. Sorry, not sorry.
It's like Spy Kids with a bit of a modern twist.
Just a quick selfie for my socials while I stop this thing.
I do that too. Shark Boy and Lava Girl are all grown up now, so naturally they're married and have a kid. Am I crazy for thinking that maybe it's time to start calling him Shark Man? At this point, it just seems a little degrading to be like, oh hey, there goes Shark Boy. I just turned 30. The premise of this movie is actually pretty funny. All of these kids are children of the heroes, so they all have like weird, underdeveloped offshoots of their parents' superpowers. Like this kid's dad is super fast, but he's super slow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the heroics have fallen.
I hope the news studio gives their graphic designer a raise. He made that entire logo in like 3 seconds.
We're getting word that the president would like to address the nation.
People of America.
Bing, bing, bong.
Hold on, I'm like 99% sure that that guy was also president in the Spy Kids movies, which means he's been in power for like 19 years? Is the Spy Kids president a dictator? This movie's dystopia. Sorry kids, but you can't leave this room. It's too dangerous out there. And if we gotta kick your ass to keep you safe, then that's what we're gonna do.
That's shark strength!
You know that thing in video games when an NPC is following you around and they get stuck on like a wall or something, but then you turn the camera and they've teleported right next to you? That's what this character does. Because I looked and he is...
Calm down, Shark Boy.
Do these two not have regular names? Imagine not only being married to Shark Boy, but you also have to call him Shark Boy. Can you just go by like Steve?
Shark strength!
I like how super early on in the movie they realize, but then every time they get stuck, they still have to have that same epiphany.
Wow, that's really smart. Oho drew us a clue.
Oh, I got it. We should just look at her drawings. That's a great idea, and a brand new one too. But make sure we forget about this so there's still tension next time. Melted. Can you make another one? I didn't get over here fast enough. Shocking twist. The one girl turns out to be evil.
Oh, was an alien spy?
So then she starts drawing monsters to kill them with because we always knew that you would do it. So basically, the whole movie leads up to the bad guys being like, Just kidding. And that's awesome.
We can be.
So if I'm being 100% honest, this movie is not terrible. It would be really easy for me to do the cynical thing where I'm like, the garbage store called, they want their trash back. But it really wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. And I think it would be disingenuous for me to be like, well, Spy Kids is good because I saw it when I was a kid, and this movie sucks because I was 27 when I watched it. I think this has just as much charm and fun action as the original Spy Kids, as long as you're within the target demographic. Maybe this is just me, but I think a lot of people my age come to expect more out of movies like this, specifically because of what Pixar has done. I was the perfect age to enjoy Monsters, Inc. when that movie came out. And then, when I was old enough to go to college, but accidentally chose not to, they released Monsters University, a movie about college. I also grew up loving Toy Story 1 and 2, and then the third one comes out when I'm nearing the end of high school, and it's a movie about moving on from your childhood, which is what I was trying to do. In recent years, they've started coming out with these brilliantly conceptualized movies about the spectrum of human emotion and what it means to be alive, literally the meaning of life. These super heady concepts that actually make you engaged and feel something as an adult while still being animated well enough to hold the attention of a child. And I feel like no matter what movie Pixar releases, besides Cars 2, I've always been a member of the film's target audience. We Can Be Heroes is not like that. And that's okay. It's a movie made for kids, featuring a bunch of characters that no well-adjusted child should have any business knowing about. And if you go into it expecting it to be anything more than that, you're gonna be seriously disappointed. I give Shark Boy and Lava Girl 2 3 Shark Boys and Lava Girls out of 5. When I was a kid, I don't think there was anything I was more obsessed with than Star Wars. Star Wars birthday cake, Star Wars birthday costume, Star Wars Darth Maul Taco Bell cup. Practically all I ever did was watch these movies while playing with the toys that were based on these movies. The great thing about the original 3 movies is that they still hold up today. They're exciting to watch, they're full of great performances, they've got an iconic soundtrack, there's hardly any incest in them. And it's crazy to think how much of what was made at this point more than 40 years ago is still acting as the sun around which every new piece of Star Wars media revolves. The like 4 characters created for these movies that get shoehorned into every new series, every reimagining, because Star Wars, even as one of the largest brands in the world, cannot seem to exist without them. They cannot create anything without a Skywalker or an Obi-Wan or a Yoda or a Darth Vader, and they're barely even trying to. It honestly seems like their entire goal at this point is to just be like, remember this guy? Remember this guy? And if this is all they're gonna do with the brand, what is even the point? If every new show is only going to exist as a way to remind us of something we've already seen, how much more Star Wars do we need? Now, I'm certainly not about to sit here and act like I'm somehow immune to nostalgia bait, because that would be a lie. When Disney released the first trailer for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, I was ecstatic. Ewan McGregor was always one of my favorite things about the prequel trilogy, and I could not wait to see him come back and play this character again. But then the weirdest thing happened. The show came out, and it ended up being so boring I stopped watching after 2 episodes and didn't think about it again for an entire year. Turns out bringing back a recognizable character is a pretty good way to get people to pay attention to something. But you still have to put in a little bit of effort. For one, I was shocked at how cheap everything looked. I know they didn't quite have a movie budget for this, but it's not like they were working with nothing. But it's so bland and gray and dark. A lot of the action sequences are nauseating to watch because of the artificial camera shake they threw in. What is this even supposed to convey? That the cameraman is scared? It just looks stupid. And of course the production problems could be overlooked if there was a story worth telling here, but I think they forgot to come up with one. None of the characters are interesting, including the one that should have been a slam dunk. You somehow took a character that's existed in people's heads for over 40 years and wrote him to be so flat that I can't remember a single thing he said or did in the show. There's no fear instilled by the antagonists because they're completely incompetent. The writing is inconsistent and the rules change from scene to scene. 4 stormtroopers, huh? Piece of cake for a guy like me. Oh fuck, 3 stormtroopers? I give up. Don't shoot. Damn. only they brought a fourth guy. This also happens just a few seconds after he tries way too hard to open a gate they very clearly could have just walked around. Did that fight give him a concussion? In episode 4, Obi-Wan has to go save Leia from her imprisonment on what is described as an extremely secure base.
It's impenetrable, Wade.
Suicide.
You're not getting in there.
Yeah, it looks pretty secure to me. They've got an entire droid patrolling the place. Not to mention multiple doors that are unlocked.
It's impenetrable.
Okay, well, he made it into the base, but there's no way they're getting out of there. Look how conspicuous they're being. Surely someone will notice the human child hiding under his jacket. No one sees that? Are their helmets on backwards? Oh, there we go. Now they're screwed. They are completely surrounded by stormtroopers. There's no way they're getting out of this. They got away. Everything worked out. And it's not because they came up with like a strategic plan or anything. They just lowered the difficulty to easy and ran straight to the ship. This show feels like it was reverse engineered. They knew people liked this character, so they decided to make a series about him, and then it's like, we'll figure out a plot for it later on. Sure, the show came out last summer. And we're so close to figuring out a plot for it. They knew people liked Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian, so they put the baby version of a different legacy character in this show. Because why try to make something new when you've already stumbled upon a formula that works? What is this, my YouTube channel? Really, this entire series doesn't do a single interesting thing until this moment near the end. And yeah, this fight was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I don't think the rest of the show needed to exist. This is like 8 minutes that are worth watching out of the entire 6-episode series. They could have just filmed this part and thrown it up on Vimeo or something. You didn't even need to bother with all that other shit. Like, what is the point of introducing Reva or any of these Inquisitors if you're not gonna do anything with them? They just act as placeholder villains until Darth Vader shows up. They don't have an arc, they're not written or portrayed in a memorable way, they're just there. Like, Reva's whole thing is she's trying to earn the trust of Vader so he'll let his guard down around her and she can strike when he least expects it. Now, obviously we know that isn't going to work because Darth Vader is very much alive in the movies we've already seen, but we don't know how close she gets. Maybe she comes up with a perfect plan and everything works out until something goes wrong at the last moment. Or she has some inner conflict and hesitates and misses her chance. Like, there's so many possibilities for how this could have played out. You want to know what the final draft version of her plan was? Run up behind him and yell. Even if he didn't have telekinetic powers, he still has ears. How did you think this was gonna go? Why did we watch 5 episodes of this character if this is all it was leading to? What a waste of time. Writing characters that are mind-numbingly stupid is an unfortunate staple across the Disney Plus Star Wars universe. It continues to pop up in the show that I watched after this one, and the one that came out most recently, Ahsoka. Now, this show is definitely better than Kenobi, but not by much. Our first introduction to the titular character is this unbelievably long scene where she's just slowly touching stuff in this cave and things start moving around and making noise, and it's so mysterious, and it goes on for like 4 minutes all so she can find the golden ball. And then she takes the ball, and then she tells people about the ball, and then her apprentice tinkers with the ball, and then someone steals the ball, and that's pretty much all of what episode 1 is until the end. Oh my God, she fucking died? All right, I'll admit it, that is a bold opening. You've established stakes, you've shown how ruthless the enemy can be, how they'll stop at nothing to get what they want. This already adds a bunch of depth to Ahsoka's character. And what's that? She's fine?
I'm fine.
I guess it was just a minor stabbing. Sorry, it's just like I feel like people usually have died from that. Relax, Obi-Wan, he's fine. Just throw a Band-Aid on it and drag him back to the ship. Okay, and it's not just that she inexplicably survived something that has killed every other character every time it's happened. It's that she's almost entirely unaffected by this. She spends like 10 minutes in the hospital and then continues about her day. If you take out the part where she got stabbed for pilot episode cliffhanger purposes, then the plot would be exactly the same. Worse though, it makes every battle going forward seem a little less important because apparently apparently lightsabers don't kill people. So why would I be nervous watching any of these fights? Nothing a little Neosporin can't fix. It's not just the first episode though, this is a theme throughout the entire show. How many times are the main characters going to end up in battles where they get shot at a million times and never get hit? It happens here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. I know that nothing bad is going to happen to them because nothing ever does. They are invincible. And once you realize that, these scenes are no longer exciting, they're just loud. There are no stakes because the enemy is useless. Now, the one thing to come out of that episode is that Sabine, the apprentice who died but didn't die, gave the golden ball map to the bad guy. And that map has the coordinates to an even bigger bad guy. So the good guys need to get that map back from the bad guys before they use it to find the other bad guy. But they also need the map because guess who else is there? Another good guy. Now, I like that this premise sets up an interesting moral dilemma because they know that even though they want to use the map to find their friend Ezra, they know that if they go to the planet that both he and Thrawn, the main villain, are at, that they risk giving Thrawn a way out, something he currently doesn't have. So there's a case to be made that if they were to just destroy the map, they would be sacrificing their friend Ezra for the greater good. Because everything we hear about Thrawn is that he's like hell-bent on destroying the entire universe. So as hard as it would be to do, it kind of seems like maybe giving up on your friend would be the best thing that would save the most lives. But of course, they don't do that. Sabine is like, yeah, people are gonna die, but Ezra's my buddy. And it's not just that she does this, it's the total lack of reaction from anyone else. Sabine's selfish actions will lead to yet another Star War, and no one's even a little bit upset. Wouldn't it have been interesting if when Ezra first sees Sabine, he kind of freaks out? Like, no, you can't be here. You've doomed the entire galaxy just to save me? I'm not worth that. What were you thinking, right? Instead, he's just like, yo, where my hug at? Remember that scene in The Dark Knight where they only have time to save either Harvey or his girlfriend Rachel, and they make the difficult choice to save him because of what he represents to the city? But instead of being relieved when he sees that someone is there to save him, his immediate reaction is anguish at the thought of someone else dying for his sake. I don't know, just thinking about that for no reason at all. I feel like everything that could have been interesting about this show is not. Like, I was so intrigued when these two came on screen and seeing how they interacted with the main characters. This could have been such an interesting parallel of master and apprentice. We could have seen the similarities between these two pairs, but that's not explored at all outside of just how the fight scenes get split up. You watch the entire season and you still don't know anything about these people. I guess he's on some mission to find power and then they have to like split up at the end, but it's all so vague.
This is a land of dreams and madness. Some ancient past, long forgotten.
Sometimes stories are just stories.
There's nothing human or relatable for me to latch onto as a viewer. I would have loved an episode that's just these two, and maybe you get a glimpse into their past and see how he kind of became a father figure to her and why that relationship matters. And maybe you could have even given her any amount of dialogue so she could have a character trait besides just brooding all the time. There's only one person on this show who evolves from beginning to end. Sabine starts off as a rebellious Padawan who cannot use the Force at all, and transforms into a rebellious Padawan who can use the Force a little bit. How does she learn? Does she have some kind of epiphany where we, the audience, are given a reason for everything to suddenly just click? No. She can't do it, and then she can't do it, and then she can't do it, and then she can do it at the time when it was most convenient to for plot reasons. Out of nowhere, she just does something that she had no ability to do 30 seconds ago. And then another 30 seconds later, she's using the Force again to shove an adult man across a gap the size of a football field. I guess she's a master of this now. There's not a whole lot of cause and effect in this show. Things don't happen because something else happened. They happen because it's time for them to happen. When someone dies, no one reacts accordingly. To the point where I'm like, do they even know what death is? They're aware that it's bad, right? Also, why is this kid even on the ship in the first place? What is it, bring your son to war day? I've seen a lot of people try to criticize the actors in this show, but I'm really not sure how much of it is actually their fault. Like, I don't think on her own that Ahsoka is a bad character or that Rosario Dawson is bad at playing her, because she plays her the exact same way as she did in one episode of The Mandalorian, and I thought she did really good in that. So did almost everybody. So clearly the issues seem to be more more about the context that these characters are put in. In both shows, she's portrayed as this wise and powerful Jedi, and in The Mandalorian, it makes sense for her to have that air to her because they write her to have knowledge that Mando doesn't have. He goes to her for information and she delivers it with the sort of quiet stoicism that makes sense given the circumstances. In her show, not only is it kind of boring for your main character to talk like that the entire time, but it doesn't really make sense for her to be that calm while telling Sabine, hey, it's okay that you've doomed the entire galaxy for personal reasons. It's not a big deal that millions of people will die, because at least you followed your heart. Like, no, that's fucking stupid, but that's how she delivers a line because that's how it was written. I have more to say about this show and Obi-Wan Kenobi, but before I get more into that, I have to tell you about the Star Wars show that is so much better than both of these. It's actually hard to fathom that it takes place inside the same universe. I think if I can explain some of the things that Andor does really well, it'll do a better job of showing why Ahsoka and Kenobi are so flat in comparison. It takes like 7 minutes for Andor to subvert our expectations. Main character gets followed by a couple of antagonistic jerks. They're pestering him, they've got him cornered, they're trying to rob him. I've seen where this goes. This is where our protagonist shows off how cool and strong he is. Who are you? The name's Andor, and don't you forget it. But no, that's not actually how this goes down, because that's not who he is as a character, and that's not what this show is. In this show, he has to scrape and claw to get out of a situation like this. It's not smooth, it's brutal and messy, and in the process of trying to defend himself, he accidentally kills one of them, an act that gets treated with the gravity you rarely see in Star Wars.
He's not breathing, he's taking. He's up! Hello?
Once the other guy shifts from being pissed off to realizing he now needs to beg for his own life, holy shit!
We had a misunderstanding. We're going together. I'll tell him what happened.
And it's important to point out that this isn't just a little action sequence to grab the viewer's attention. This is what drives the show forward. This is the impetus for everything Cassian does next, because he's now a wanted criminal. He's on the run. He has to quickly figure out how to earn enough money to get the hell out of this place. When I say that the other shows are boring, I'm not asking for more giant battles with a bunch of explosions and CGI spaceships. We've seen all that before. I'm just asking for what happens on the screen to mean something. If there are no consequences when something happens, then it does not matter that it happened. If nothing else, at the very least, death has to matter, and yet Star Wars keeps trying to tell us that it doesn't. When major characters die, they're only dead until we need them to be alive again. And when minor characters die, no one around them seems to give a shit. So what's the point? Oh, don't worry about those guys. They're just kind of nothing.
What do you mean the people were just kind of nothing?
They're just like not important, like they don't matter.
We also don't need to be told about the threat posed by the Empire in this show. We can just see it. We're shown what can happen to a corrupt judicial system with unchecked power. We're shown a prison with electrified floors they can use to kill anybody for any reason. Like, the Empire actually feels terrifying in this show. These TIE fighters, which are made to be so disposable, so small and insignificant in the other movies, feel enormous when they fly by. They're loud and daunting. Their presence actually feels like a threat. In Ahsoka, we are not shown why we should be scared of Thrawn. We're told that he's this imposing force. We're told that he's an evil Grand Admiral whose escape will lead to the destruction of the galaxy, but those are just words. Words contradicted by how stupid he is in every scene. Every time he attempts to kill anyone, he fails at it. His plans keep not working, and every time he's just like, actually, it's a good thing that we lost. Now that I think about it, maybe that's why Ahsoka's so nonchalant about him getting out. It's because she realizes that he's just a bumbling idiot who painted himself blue. If you want to make the audience fear your villain, you have to show what they're capable of. Not with words, but with actions. Remember this guy? That was kind of his entire thing. In fact, he was at his most feared when he wasn't talking. And unless you want them to just be evil for the sake of being evil, you have to flesh them out in some capacity. capacity? What are their motivations, their flaws, their ambitions? A great show will make you sympathize with the villain. A great show will show you everybody's perspective so you understand where they're coming from. A bad show will tell you, these guys are evil and these guys are good. And that's why they fight. Andor takes the time to develop almost all of its characters in ways the other shows simply did not. The first time Cassian's friend Brasso comes on screen, we are shown the dynamic of their relationship without one of them having to just verbally tell us. We can see the concern Brasso has when he notices his bruises, and then Cassian, without explaining himself first, starts telling him what we know to be a lie about what took place last night.
What'd you do when you left?
I went home, cleaned up a bit, and then I fell asleep.
No, we decided we were thirsty and you wanted to go to Cabos. But I said that was no good because there's too many people there, I owe money.
He starts explaining to Brasso the somewhat convoluted alibi that he needs him to go along with, and without missing a beat, Brasso realizes that his friend needs his help and agrees to go along with it.
You insulted my choice of beverage. As host and provider, I was offended by this. You come in now to apologize.
This is a great scene because it serves two purposes. One, it tells us that what happened last night is not just going to go away, and clearly Cassian is worried about the consequences. And two, it shows us that these two people are good enough friends for one of them to put himself in danger for the other one's sake. From this, we can just assume a bunch of things about their relationship. Clearly, they've known each other for a long time. They probably have their own history of getting into trouble, but always having each other's backs. I hate when dialogue will try to accomplish the same thing by just telling you about something that happened off screen.
Cousin! There's that man whose uncle is my dad. I haven't seen you since that mission we did. The one on Chlorpatron? Yep, where you almost got us killed. Hey, I'm a great pilot, but I'm impulsive. And it's important we say these things out loud to each other, lest we forget.
Later on in this episode, they introduce Cyril, the Imperial deputy who's fucking obsessed with his job. And you can see that immediately from the way he's standing, from the seriousness with which he's trying to talk, from the hilarious detail that he's taken the time to have his suit tailored.
Have you modified your uniform?
Perhaps slightly.
Within seconds of this man appearing on screen, you already understand who he is. What's interesting about this character, and also Dedra, a similar character who gets introduced later, is that instinctively, you kind of find yourself rooting for both of them, even though they are the bad guys. And why is that? How could it be that this asshole comes on screen in his funny little suit and I find myself sympathizing with him? Well, it's because we understand why he's doing the things he's doing. In juxtaposition with his boss in this scene, he just wants justice, but the company he's working for is telling him, no, do not investigate this murder. In fact, don't draw any attention to it at all because it might make us look bad. So even though we obviously don't want Andor to get caught, you can still look at the situation from Cyril's point of view and be like, hey, I mean, he's got a point. Like, I don't want Zuko to capture the Avatar, but once you see what he's been through and why it's so important to him, it makes him feel more human. Seeing someone who thinks they're doing something for the right reasons is always way more interesting than someone who's just vaguely evil. It's also important that these characters are written to be smart because they couldn't have gotten to where they are if they weren't. They couldn't succeed in the ways that they do if they were just giant morons our heroes could defeat without breaking a sweat. When someone comes up with a plan on this show, it is thorough. They take months to prepare for it. They have to focus on the most minute of details because the people they're fighting aren't just dumb and vulnerable. They have to find the tiniest cracks that they can slip through. And even when they plan for months and the objective is overall a success, there are still repercussions. And the Empire doesn't just shrug their shoulders and take it. They use it as an opportunity to amp up their authority. They're not invincible, but they're pretty close to it. When I was finished watching all 8 episodes of Ahsoka, I sat back and thought, what actually happened in this show? What transformations took place from the beginning of the series to the end? And it's pretty much just one thing. Thrawn got out. That's it. And sure, we're told that's a big deal in this universe, but like, we needed 8 episodes just to do that? How does something with such a huge budget get stretched so thin? Conversely, when I got to episode 4 of Andor and he meets up with a group of rebels who tells him about their plan to pull a grand heist on the planet of Aldhani, I thought, oh, cool. So this is what the whole series is gonna build up to. The season finale will be this mission. and then they rehearsed, executed, and dealt with the consequences of the entire thing by the end of episode 6. It was a 3-episode arc. I was so conditioned by the other 2 shows that I just assumed they would drag this one plot point across the entire season. But the creators of Andor knew that they had way more story to tell. You thought this part was good? No. We haven't even gotten to the best part yet. The best part of the show is the Narkina 1 prison sequence. Now, I want to be careful how I talk about this because I don't want to spoil it. But I am going to spoil it, so you've been warned. If you haven't watched this show yet and you're at all intrigued by it, go watch all 12 episodes and then come back and finish the video. But make sure you come back, because then I'll get 2 views. So Cassian gets taken to this place where the first thing they do is show you how they are in control. If you act out, or if you don't do your job, or if you do your job but just slower than everyone else, they will turn on the floors that will electrically shock you. This prison doesn't need thousands of armed guards to keep you in your place. It has its own built-in security. And they're so confident in this system that they don't even feel like they need to have someone supervise the prisoners when they go back to their cells. They just assign one of them to play that role. On Cassian's floor, that person is Kino Loy. Now, Kino is as much of a company man as a prisoner could be. He is steadfast in his belief that if he just does everything he's supposed to, that he will be set free when his number hits 0. It doesn't seem to faze him at all that their sentences are getting doubled or tripled arbitrarily. He's just focused on doing everything he thinks he needs to do to get out of this place as soon as possible. Now, as Cassian spends weeks and then months here, he is trying to accrue any information he can on this prison, but Kino will not budge.
How many guards on each level? You want out of here alive, turn that part of your mind off.
You think they're listening? You think they care enough to make an effort? They don't need to care. How many guards on each level?
It's gonna take something much bigger than Cassian to disillusion this man. And that's when a rumor starts to leak. A prisoner on level 4 finished his sentence and was supposed to get released, but instead got put right back into the prison just on a different floor. And when word started to spread about this, they killed everyone on that floor just to keep the rest of the prison from finding out. Around the same time, an old man named Olaf, with just a few shifts left of his sentence, suffers a stroke. A doctor is sent to give him medical attention, but all he can do is just put him out of his misery. A now out of commission old man is of no use to the Empire in a prison where all that matters is productivity. While he's there, the doctor confirms the rumor about what happened on level 2, and this is where the reality of the situation finally sets in for Kino.
No one is getting out!
It doesn't matter how well you play the game when your opponent is in control of the rules. And one last time, Cassian asks him the same question.
How many guards on each level?
Never more than 12.
Dude, this shit got me so fired up. I was on my feet, I was hooting and hollering, I started barking at the TV. This, and of course the following episode where they actually break out of prison, was so entertaining to watch, and everything that built up to these moments was laid out and paced so perfectly. This wasn't just good by Star Wars standards, this was one of the most enjoyable stretches of television I've seen in years. But again, all of this doesn't just happen because they thought it would be a cool thing to put in a show. This serves a greater purpose in the overall story. This is the single most transformative event of Cassian's life. At the beginning of the show, he's approached by this guy Luthen with a chance to join his rebellion, and he could not give 2 shits about it. To him, it's never been about fighting the Empire, he's just trying to survive. His motivation is money and protecting his family. That's it. Sure, there's moments throughout the Aldhani arc where he starts to get introduced to some other perspectives. He starts showing subtle signs of leadership. He sees someone who mirrors some of the worst parts of himself and maybe realizes, I don't know if that's the guy I want to be. But even when he's done with that and he gets paid, he hasn't changed all that much. All he wants to do is take that money and fuck off to Space Miami where he can stay out of trouble. It's not until he's thrown into this harrowing prison where he can see for himself how evil these people are. He didn't even get arrested for his double murder, by the way. He got a 6-year sentence for looking suspicious on a beach. Now is where he sees firsthand how subhuman the Empire views everyone to be. That there are prisoners wasting their lives away working here, motivated only by the promise of freedom that they don't even realize they'll die before they ever get a taste of. This is the inciting incident that fundamentally changes who he is. And that's how you develop a character. It's also such an interesting story of sacrifice and working towards a larger goal at the expense of what you want. Cassian initially just wants to be left alone, right? Why is this my problem? But once he realizes not only how fucked up everything is, but that he may be able to serve a larger purpose within this movement, he jumps at the opportunity. Everyone who's a part of this rebellion is sacrificing something to do so, and the result is honestly kind of beautiful. Luthen, as one of the leaders of this rebellion, is very much the face of that idea. He has this incredible speech where he's like, what do I sacrifice? Everything.
I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see.
This isn't about me. This isn't about us. This is about creating something for the greater good. And then I just think about how they made Sabine put the entire galaxy in danger so she could save one guy. The gap between Andor and Ahsoka in terms of writing quality is the size of the Grand Canyon.
Live or die? Trying to die.
I choose to live. Take all the money you found and go and find some peace.
I won't have peace. I'll be worried about you all the time.
That's just love. Nothing you can do about that.
What an amazing line to come out of a random Star Wars show. And anytime someone delivers a monologue in Andor, it's so inspirational. It makes me want to run through a brick wall.
They don't have enough guards, and they know it. If we wait until they figure that out, it'll be too late. And I would rather die trying to take them down than giving them what they want.
In Ahsoka, I feel like sometimes the writers forgot what universe their show takes place in. There's a scene where Hera has to have a meeting in front of members of the Intergalactic Senate and listen to the reasons they give for not believing her story.
But this report reads like a child's fairy tale. Star maps, star whales, distant galaxies. Honestly, are we to believe any of it?
Dude, you're literally in Star Wars. What are you talking about? Oh, you want me to believe there's some kind of other galaxy out there that has a map leading to it? Sounds like bullshit to me. Now get out of my sight, lime green alien with tentacles for hair. Also, where the creators of Andor deliberately avoided gratuitous cameos, the other shows seem to have been built around them. It's like they feel compelled to dangle a familiar character in front of us every time they think people are starting to lose interest. Man, this courtroom scene is boring. I don't even know who any of these people are. C-3PO? I know that guy. Oh, the whales are back. Wake me up when this is over. Hayden Christensen from Little Italy?
What?
I like seeing characters that I know return to the screen. It's fun. I'm not trying to rain all over your parade if you enjoyed this, but like, can there also be substance with it? Can we raise our standards a little bit? I think if I were to try to thematically categorize the new Star Wars that works versus the new Star Wars that doesn't, it's that a lot of what doesn't work seems to be taking familiar characters and putting them in a new setting, where what has worked has mostly done the opposite. I think when you approach something like the Empire and say, what if we told this story from a brand new perspective? That's how you can flesh out something we're familiar with in ways we might have never even considered. Whereas when you start with a character and then try to pull an entire show out of your ass, it's gonna be a lot harder to stumble upon a story worth telling. Also, when you make a spin-off series about a person whose life we are already intimately familiar with, you lose your ability to use one of the most fundamental tools of storytelling: character evolution. A bedrock of almost every good story ever told involves a three-dimensional character who grows and changes in some way. And when you take someone who's already experienced that in the past, it's hard to do that again without first making them devolve a little bit, and that's not fun to see. I don't want to see a PTSD-ridden Obi-Wan Kenobi scared of conflict before reverting back into the guy we thought he was. It's like when you play the sequel to a video game and they have to come up with some convoluted way to justify the fact that they nerfed all your abilities you had at the end of the last game so you can learn them all again. Oh, he forgot how to use the Force. Yay, he remembered! On the topic of video games though, I think that's somewhere where Star Wars has done a pretty good job of expanding on this universe in a worthwhile and additive way. Particularly the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor games are really fun, even though they did kind of release the second one in an indefensible state of brokenness, but that's just how games are now. Can't blame us if everyone's doing it. But this game is another example of like, hey, you don't have to just keep using the same 4 characters over and over again. Let me experience something new. It can still take place within a world I'm familiar with, but give me a fresh protagonist to learn about. Show me Star Wars from an alternate perspective and let me live inside of it. That, more than anything else, is what takes me back to the feeling that Star Wars gave me when I was a kid, and I think it's something they desperately need more of.
I got it so easy. Guard the cliff, crush the locals, look at the scenery. Nobody's getting past me, not without a blaster.
I will forge the way there in your honor. Time to fight.
But for Star Wars to regain the reputation it once had, it's going to have to come in the form of consistently good movies and TV shows. And even with as great as Andor was, I have no confidence to believe that this is a sign of more things to come. Because so far this has very much proven to be the exception to the rule. Tony Gilroy came in and showed that when you're not afraid to bring something new to the table, to avoid cheap cameos in lieu of actual storytelling, to not just follow the formula created 46 years ago, that you can make something so good that it doesn't even have to be Star Wars for it to work. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi had to be Obi-Wan. Ahsoka had to be Ahsoka. The stories that these shows told were so thin that no one would have given a shit about them if it wasn't filled with familiar faces. Andor is a show that just happens to take place in the Star Wars universe, and I don't think Disney is that interested in continuing to tell those kinds of stories. When I was a kid, I would think about all the blanks that could be filled in the Star Wars universe. I thought so excitedly about all the planets and the monsters and the Jedis out there just doing their thing. It seemed like there were infinite possibilities. And yet, the more they expand on this universe, the smaller it starts to feel. Are there more stories to tell, or are we just gonna keep finding ways to repackage the old ones? Because if that's the case, I don't know how much more Star Wars we need.